But we also have Jacob Barber. How's it going?
Hello. Yes, I am. I am here. Almost every other show.
Yep, right. Yeah, he's one of our regular guests, kind of a partner in the channel. So yeah, we like having Jacob on. And then we also have another regular that's here almost every show. We have Richie Goodacre. How's it going?
What's up? I'm here almost every show. Yeah, me and Jacob are part of the furniture now, and yeah,
Yep.
good to be here.
Yeah, you just kind of blend into the background now. You're just always there, right?
Yeah,
Consider yourself part of the furniture. We've
Yep.
taken to you so strong.
Yep. Exactly. And then we will have Austin with us tonight. He just wrapped up a little bit of work. He'll be here in like about anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. So we'll just watch for him. But I'll go ahead and I'll explain how it's going to work tonight for everyone that might be watching. So in just a minute, I'm going to bring up the tier chart, and basically we'll have a pool of movies to choose from, and we just rank it where we think that it belongs on the tier ranker chart. So we have S for superior, and we have A, B, C, D, so on and so forth, like grades in school. So you can kind of see it there, and we also have a slot for haven't seen, because we have to have at least 3 people in the on the panel that have seen it for it to count. We also have a spot for not a coming of age movie. If you have an argument and you think that it might not be a coming of age movie, you can make your argument for that. And we want to try to do within of the episode, we want to build a solid top 10 in the S tier, and then 3 honorable mentions. So we're only going to allow 10 movies in the S tier. All the other tier can have as many movies as we want. And you can talk about a good movie, you can talk about a bad movie, you can talk about something anywhere in between. And then we have the pool of movies down here to choose from. And what I'm going to do while you guys are all talking, I am just going to so I learned that the easiest thing to do is we have a little Facebook group for the show. I'm just going to post all the I'm going to repost all the movies in there, because we've had some issues with the list disappearing if you get knocked out of the stream for whatever reason. So I'll just post it there so you can have a written list. And then the turn order goes at the bottom of the ladder. That's how it's displayed on screen. So Richie, you'll be first tonight to choose. We'll just go up the ladder each time. We have some tiebreaker rules for once Austin gets here, and we can kind of talk about the tiebreaker rules once we actually have a tie. But other than that, I think that's pretty much everything.
There's no ties in tier ranker.
Oh yeah. You're right. That's only tournament fights. So yeah, no. Then we're totally fine then. No ties. So but I think we're ready to start. So we'll have Richie pick first. So which one you want to talk about first, Richie?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a basic bitch here, and I'm gonna go with the. There's a Breakfast Club on there, so I'm gonna put it on
there. It should be. Yep, right here.
Yeah, This is it still holds up. Although I came to it like kind of lateish, but I watched a few years ago. But it's definitely I love it. It's a great movie about people, different sort of social classes sort of coming together and forced to get along. But yeah, it's a great movie. All performances are great. And yeah, one of the better soundtracks all the time. So yeah, I definitely think it's S tier. It still holds up, but I don't think it ever should be remade. I think it's perfect the way it is. So yeah, S tier for Breakfast Club.
Yeah. Well, Chris, where would you rank it and why? The Breakfast Club.
I mean, I'd go with Richie. If he hadn't put it there or someone else hadn't, I would definitely put it up there. It's just A, one of the best John Hughes movies, B, one of the best coming of age movies, and C, one of the best Brat Pack movies. And as Richie said, just a brilliant soundtrack. And just all the characters are just instantly memorable. There we go. I can't think of much else some of them have been in, which says a hell of a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good.
Richie's dogs to agree.
which these dogs agree with you, so that's good. Yeah, but Mark, what do you think for the Breakfast Club?
I agree with its presence in S tier. It is very crucial in that there were dramatic movies about teens being made before the Breakfast Club, but they often leaned on melodrama and didn't have a whole lot of comedy about them, and also a lot of them were being done by people who were not teenagers, and also they were addressing kind of melodramatic tropes rather than just dealing with the ordinary day-to-day pressures of teenage life. And I feel like Hughes was not the first, but he was the first best at zeroing in on the moments, on the moment, on the zeitgeist, and delving into what was on everyone's mind at the time. And I would say that some cultural elements of the movie haven't aged well, but it's a product of its time, and people evolve and things fine. That it doesn't have to keep being absolutely timeless. There are aspects of it that are timeless, but there are moments that are loaded in there. And I want to take advantage of the floor to make one tiny defense of one of the elements that has not aged well, which is Ali Sheedy's makeover. I think we all agree that Ali looked just absolutely wonderful as she was. That being said, I think how the scene should be interpreted, it is not that she's being made, she wants to be prettier. It is that she has sensed that this moment that Claire, Molly Ringwald, gives her, this is the first time that Molly has done something for somebody else. So it's kind of the equivalent of, a goth kid going on the Sally Jesse Raphael makeover show with their mom. They know damn well they're going to go right back to their original look, but it is something to make the other person happy. And, okay, let's see how I would look this way. So I think, we all agree she's going to go back to her, dark brooding look, because that's what was best. But it is, see it as an interesting experiment and not some great, she has to conform to this beauty standard.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with all of that, and also too, I'll just shout out in the comments my friend Jennifer watching. I mean, who doesn't love Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson? I mean, the whole cast all around it's a pretty powerhouse cast. It's pretty stacked, especially for the '80s too. So, but Jacob, what do you think?
Yeah, what he said, S tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all been said. I'm not going to repeat anything. So,
yeah. I'm the same way. I'm with you guys. S tier, and it's a coming of age movie that just kind of happens like over one Saturday where all these kids, like, you kind of see that, like, you really get to know them as far as where they come from and then where they end up at the end of this day, and they kind of become friends, maybe some more than others, and they kind of reach a little bit of an emotional journey by the end. But I really love John Hughes movies, and I love him as a director because what I've noticed is that he kind of takes movies that are maybe done by a different director, maybe it wouldn't be so powerful, it wouldn't work as well, but John Hughes is a master of his craft when it comes to these kind of coming of age movies and stories. So yeah, I'd say S tier for sure. I'm with you guys. So it'd be S tier for The Breakfast Club. We're unanimous, so we'll leave it there. So so Chris, you'll be up next. So you got one that you want to talk about? I'll kind of do a little slow scroll here so you can see. But
I mean, if we have to start with our strongest picks, I'm going to have to go for Dazed and Confused.
Yeah,
It's easily, once again, it's in my top 5 movies of all time. It's perfectly encapsulates everything that's brilliant about being a teenager. Is someone once said is the best movie where nothing happens, and for some reason that's always stuck with me. Plus, it's got that absolutely brilliant, once again, like The Breakfast Club, it's got that absolutely amazing soundtrack. It's also got a cast that would go on to become, if not huge, at least relatively big. You know, you've got Mila Jovovich there, who would go on to be, let's not talk about Resident Evil here. You got Ben Affleck, who would go on to be in another film with Joey Lauren Adams, which I absolutely love, Chasing Amy.
Oh yeah.
You've got, who else is in that film? Anthony Rapp, Mila Jovovich, Parker Posey, Matthew McConaughey. All right.
Yep.
It's, yeah, to me it just encapsulates everything that's perfect about being a teenager and just having that perfect, can't remember if this one night or one or two nights it goes over. I believe it's just one night. It's like their final night of high school, and just getting to see Ben Affleck be made an absolute ass of is always a joy. Lovely guy, but in that movie he's a complete douchebag, and getting him getting his comeuppance is just absolutely brilliant. Some lines, like Mark said for the last one, maybe don't stand the test of time. Like Matthew McConaughey's one about the best thing about high school girls. Maybe questionable in this day and age. But nah, still, as I say, just one of my top 5 movies of all time, and that soundtrack I could listen to all day.
Yep. Yeah, sounds good. Mark, what do you think for Dazed and Confused?
I will also concur for S tier. I think in relation to what Hughes's gift was for the 80s, what Linklater's gift has been throughout so many of his movies has been that he can take familiar material and make it look as if it is happening for the first time. Yeah, that there were all-in-one night movies before Dazed and Confused, and they will probably come up as we go through the program. And there were, movies that made a whole bunch of stars when they were still just, struggling in the shadows. But here he just takes everything and makes it look presents it in a way that we haven't seen it before. Just little touches in terms of the depiction of the 70s, or the kinds of people that he chooses to depict from the 70s, and the time and place of that Texas town that we're seeing it as we've never seen it before. And he's carried that gift on all the way to his current Netflix movie, which has been criminally underseen. So everyone should go watch Apollo 10.5. It's a wonderful film.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm glad to hear a positive review about it. So, but Jacob, what do you think?
I'm going to agree with S tier for Dazed and Confused. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I was very late to it. I just watched it for the first time a couple of years ago, but I watched it with my aunt and her husband, and they looked like they were enjoying it just as much as they did the first time they saw it. And I'm sure they'd seen it, 20, 25 years before I did. So, seeing them still have that level of enjoyment just shows, I think, that this movie is holding up pretty well. Other than maybe Matthew McConaughey's line, like Chris had mentioned, but other than that, I think it's fun. I think it's funny. I think it's great. I think the performances are outstanding. I will agree with S tier for Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, sounds good. So I've got a handful of blind spots on this list. This is one of them. So I've not seen it yet. So I need to get around to seeing it. But it's just one of those ones that I haven't. So I'm going to abstain for now. But Richie, what do you think?
All right, I'm gonna be the heel here. I've seen it. I like it. I just don't think it's S tier. There are parts of this movie I just get kind of bored with, and I just think there's better coming of age movies out there. I did enjoy it, just didn't grab me as much as other people did. So I would go B.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Chris.
All right, Richie, it was fun having you on the show tonight. We'll see you next time.
Anyway,
Well, you were the first one to go, so yeah. But we have 3 S's, so it'll stay in the S. It'll just stay lower than the Breakfast Club, but it'll be up there. So, but yeah, so we'll throw it over to Mark now. You're up. So, what do you want to talk about?
I'm going to go ahead and nominate this for S tier because the movie that I really wish I were putting into S tier is not on the list, and I didn't lobby for it to be on the list because I figured most everyone else has not seen it and would be a moot point anyway. So the one that I am pulling from the list that I'm going to use as my protest vote, so to speak, is John Singleton's Boys in the Hood.
Ooh, nice.
It is, it is not, the first film to look at young men, going out of coming through high school and having to make the decision to stay in school or to get prematurely grown up and get into gang life, which provides validation and activity that seems much more exciting than academic studies. And this list, a lot of the stuff that we have on this list is very kind of white. Yeah, let's just call it what it is. So this was a very important representation. Plus, John Singleton was the youngest Best Director nominee for this film, so he was not too far removed from from his own teen years when he wrote this. It's honest, it's heartfelt, it's got three great youth performances, especially Cuba Gooding and Ice Cube, and also Lawrence Fishburne, playing that really, stern dad that, we knew not to cross, but we also knew was going to have our back if we got in trouble. It's a beautiful and game-changing film, and I would say that anyone who has seen it, the film that they should go track down, that is Michael Schultz's 1975 Cooley High with Lawrence Hilton Jacobs and Glenn Turman, which recently screened at the TCM Festival and had a huge reunion. It's been it was a movie that put Michael Schultz on the map as a director. It got him hired by no less than George Lucas to direct episodes of Indiana Jones Adventures, and but Cooley High's not there. Boys in the Hood is, and so S tier for me.
Yeah. Well, that's good. People in the chat were asking what the movie was, so we'll have to go and check that one out. Yeah. So, but Jacob, what do you think?
I think I need to see this movie. I've not seen it yet, but the way Mark talks about it, I kind of want to vote S tier just
yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, you spoke very highly of it, and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. Well, Mark, you took my first nomination, so that's totally fine because I actually watched this movie for the very first time this morning because I knew we were doing the best coming of age movie, and like everyone has always talked about this movie, always talked very highly of it, like it's an essential one, especially when it comes to the coming of age, especially for Black culture, that type of thing. So yeah, like I definitely wanted to watch it, and I love this movie. Like this is an S tier, and it's very powerful too. Like a lot of good lessons to learn, and also justice for Ricky. Like I won't say any more because you haven't seen it, Jacob. But Yeah, so I'm gonna say S tier for.
Yeah, don't spoil a '90s
No,
movie
no,
for me.
Yeah, right. Well, still, I'll let you have some surprise going in, but yeah, and then also Lawrence Fishburne, like he probably gives my favorite performance. He's great as the father to Cuba Gooding Jr. And then I didn't realize Ricky's character was played by Morris Chestnut. I didn't realize that till after the movie. I didn't really recognize him when he was younger, but yeah. So yeah, S tier though for Boys in the Hood. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that you don't recognize Morris Chestnut. That dude doesn't age.
I don't know, for whatever reason, I just didn't.
Go ahead, I feel like he looks the same now he does back then. But anyway, yeah, like this is a great movie. It's been a hot minute since I've seen it, so I probably need it for a rewatch. But I remember really enjoying it, really connecting with a lot of the characters. So yeah, I'll go. Still one of Jonathan Singleton's best. So yeah, I will agree with S tier.
Yeah, well, Chris, what do you think for Boys in the Hood?
I mean, I'm going to have to agree with S tier. I'm just looking at my own list here, and I've got about 17 movies that I would have put at S tier.
Yeah,
and I can look at least 7 of them and go, yeah, I would put this above that. I'd put this above them easily. Thinking back on it, like Rich, it's been a long time since I've seen it, and I've only seen it once, but I do remember really enjoying it. And yeah, you just can't say anything. Can't deny the acting performances and the direction and its place in popular culture at all. I've got nothing really else to add to that one.
Yeah. Sounds good. So sounds like for the people that have seen it, it's unanimous for S tier. So we'll leave it in the S tier. So yeah, and then we'll throw it over to Jacob. You're up. So what do you want to talk about?
Yeah. I kind of decided before we started that I just want to talk about movies I enjoy and let you guys worry about the S tier. If the movies I nominate make the S tier, great. If they don't, also great. So the first one I want to talk about, you can stop right there. I want to bring up Sing Street. I absolutely love this movie. I knew nothing about this movie going into it, and I watched it, and I was blown away. I thought the music in it is incredible. I think the performances are all outstanding. I love the setting of it. It's one that I can go back to quite a bit and get as much enjoyment out of it as that initial watch. I think this one is also underseen. I think people don't talk about this movie as much as I think they should. Maybe it's getting talked about as much as it should, and I'm just a lot higher on it than most people, and that's okay. This is a movie that I absolutely love. I will champion this movie every single time it's on a list like this. So I will nominate Sing Street for S tier.
Yeah, and for me, for someone who's not really big into musicals, I actually really dig Sing Street. I think that this movie's great, and when I saw it for the first time, I was kind of the same way as you, Jacob. I didn't really know anything about it going in. I just kind of went in blind, and like when I saw it, like I don't even know if I even saw a trailer for it. I just kind of just went in and just watched it. And I was really blown away by it, just seeing these teenagers growing up in Ireland, just kind of seeing their story and yeah, and also too from the same director John Carney who directed another musical that I like, probably not even as much as Sing Street. I like Sing Street a little more, but he directed the movie once, so that one's pretty good. Also, we haven't seen that one, so but yeah, I'm gonna give Sing Street an S tier. It probably wouldn't go at the top for me. It'd be a little lower, but I mean, usually at the end of the show, we'll kind of give a definitive ranking to the S tier, but we'll talk about that at the end. So yeah, I'll say S for Sing Street. But Richie, what do you think?
I have not seen it, so
Richie, you're off the podcast.
Yep.
yeah.
But Chris,
haven't seen it.
Oh,
anything.
Well, Mark, your only hope. Have you seen Sing Street?
I have not seen Sing Street.
Oh.
Sorry to be the spoiler.
Oh man, that's okay. See,
sorry,
see, it is underseen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have enough people. Yep, so we'll just put it in haven't seen, but what we like to do, if the movie ends up in haven't seen, we'll give the person another pick, so you can pick another movie you want to
let
talk
me
about.
pick another movie you guys haven't seen.
Yeah. Right.
I'll go ahead and stop because another movie I think is a solid S tier is the movie Eighth Grade. I think Eighth Grade was wonderful from Bo Burnham, who both wrote and directed. I thought he knocked it out of the park. I think Elsie Fisher is great in the leading role. I think she just nails it. I think this movie just nails what being an eighth grader is like. So again, I think this is another one that might be underseen. Like it's the one that I also champion, much like Sing Street. I think it might be a little more seen because of Bo Burnham's name being attached to it. I think I would love to see him do a follow up, like maybe a high school version of this, because I think he absolutely nailed it. What eighth grade can be like, and yeah, I'm gonna go S tier for eighth grade.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, so unfortunately, I tried to watch this movie and I only saw about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I got busy doing something else, and for whatever reason, just I haven't been able to go back to it. But from what I saw, I actually really liked, but I just don't really think it's enough to really count it as really seeing the movie. So I'll probably have to abstain for now. But
No, 15 minutes of a movie does not count.
No. So, but Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet. I love Bo Burnham. He's one of my favorite comics, so I should probably get around to it. But as of yet, I have not seen it.
Oh, what are you doing, Richie?
Well, yeah, what are you doing with your life? Yeah, but Chris, what do you think?
Jacob's gonna absolutely hate me and Richie tonight. Haven't seen it. I actually had to go and check when it came out because I thought, did I not see it because of the plague? But then it came out the year before the plague, and it's just one of those ones that slipped my mind. I do keep meaning to watch it, yes, but no, just unfortunately haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, Mark, have you seen it? Eighth grade?
I have seen it. I don't think I'm ready to give it S tier status just yet because I feel like it needs some more time to prove itself. It's certainly a wonderful film. I definitely give it an A tier ranking because it is rare to be looking at the tweener experience as it is the teenage experience, and it's in some ways it's even more difficult because there's the same sorts of thorny issues, but it is at a younger age, and when just everything is kicking in, everything is getting carbonated in that body, so it's a difficult thing to pull off, and I felt like he did a great job. Okay, Austin, I think you're gonna be the decider here as to.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, welcome, Austin, with the brand new haircut.
Hello. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I had to adjust my headphones. I shaved off all my hair this morning.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
But what can I give you? So you can talk about eighth grade first if you want to give just like a quick.
Yeah, I won't change.
Yeah,
I won't change the tiers too much on the other ones. Eighth grade, I actually did watch because Jacob's been pushing this on our other show, podcast about movies, really hard, and had mentioned in one of our shows. So I watched it, and yeah, I don't think I'm ready to give it S tier yet. I would probably have to sit on it. I would go like an A tier. I do think it's really, really good. I like what Bo Burnham did with his direction. I think it was a really solid debut. I know the main star. I've seen her in. And is it Isla Fisher's kid, or is she related to her at all, or Is it somebody else? Elsie Fisher or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know I've seen her in other stuff since then. She's very good. Oh, that's right. She was in the horrible Texas Chainsaw Massacre Netflix movie. That's right. She was in that awful movie. She was okay in it, but she was okay in that movie, so I won't blame her for that. But yeah, I'll go A tier for 8th grade. What did Mark give it again? Did he give it an A tier as well?
He
Yeah,
did.
he said A. I think.
Okay.
So
Yeah, two A's and an S. We'll A tier. Boys in the Hood, I'll concur with an S tier. That's an easy one for me. I think the dual punch of Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society in the early '90s is a really good double feature if you ever want to see that. Breakfast Club S tier, I'll go with that as well. And I'm kind of with Richie. I'm not big on Dazed and Confused, to be honest. I enjoy it for what it is. I didn't really connect. I thought most of the characters were kind of pieces of garbage characters for the most part that I didn't connect to, and it helped and it stopped me from really getting into the movie. Did Richie? Where did you put Dazed and Confused? Did you have it at a B tier? Because that's where I was.
B. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I will agree with a B tier on that. So
everyone else was S.
yeah, it's still got three S's and 2 B's. It'll be at the bottom of S tier, but it might get the bump if we have more overwhelming ones. But we'll see. It might be on the border. But yeah, with that.
Yeah.
Also, Elsie Fisher, no relation to Isla. I just looked it up.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if maybe they were related to some. I don't know, but just figured. You never know.
But then one other question for you, Austin. Have you seen Sing Street? Because we have it done and haven't seen, but if you've seen it,
so I've been meaning to get around to it for like 10 years, and at this point, if I haven't gotten around to it, I'm probably not going to get around to it for the next 10 years. So no, I haven't seen it. I've been meaning to get around to it forever. Yeah. So, but I haven't. I haven't, so sorry. Yeah, sorry, Jacob. I know he likes this movie. If he puts it on some show that we're gonna do, and I have to prep for it, I will finally watch it. Had he put it on something, so that's the only way at this point where it's like I have to for a show. So,
I put it on a show.
If it was a 2017 movie, Austin, I would have.
Yeah, right. Sounds good.
I put it on a show, but there's way too many damn movies. So
I couldn't catch up with the 30 movies on this list that I have not seen, but I've seen a good amount of them.
Yeah, well,
all right.
Well, you're just in time, Austin, because
sweet.
Jacob just had his pick, so you can go next. So if you have one,
excellent. I'll talk about Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders, one of my favorite novels.
All right.
By S.E. Hinton. I'm not sure where it is. Yeah.
It might be under The Outsider. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, here it is. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, this is one of my favorite novels that we had to read in school, so much so that I still own a copy of it and very much enjoy it. And I think what Coppola did with the movie, especially when he's recently put out the complete novels, what he's called, is kind of the extended cut with more of the stuff from the actual book. I think he does a great job with this. C. Thomas Howell is obviously, Stay Golden, Pony Boy, all that stuff. But he's really good. I think Ralph Macchio is actually great, and this is a year before he was in The Karate Kid, and he actually gives a great performance in this film. And just the whole cast is outstanding. I mean, if you look at that, it's a who's who of young actors. I mean, Emilio, you got Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, Matt Dillon. I mean, just everybody, even Diane Lane, everybody's somebody in this movie. But I think the movie moves along very well, where the characters literally change not only their appearance, but, what they lose one of their fellow characters and have to really go through a growing process. So, I love The Outsiders a lot. I'm going to nominate for S tier.
Yeah. And I think that I'm with you there. Like, the story's just a really cool story between two kind of like rival gangs, Greasers and the Socs, and I mean, the movie just kind of like a slow build where you're getting to know all these characters, and then near the end, kind of in the middle actually is where the big fight happens, and for me that's kind of like the climax. But then you have some things that happen after as a result of that, But like it has a stacked cast, and it's a book that I had to read also when I was in school. We watched the movie, so like almost like most kids in America, I mean, at least in like the 80s, 90s that were in high school then, probably read this book. Even the 2000s, I would say. But so I would say S tier. Yeah, it's a movie that really surprised me with how much I actually liked it. So yeah.
All right.
But Richie, what do you think for The Outsiders?
Yeah, like it's not a movie I would have thought I would sort of watch them, but like my friend probably a couple of years ago gave me the DVD he just gave me the DVD, I watched it, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's I'm surprised like off of this that Rob Lowe's not didn't turn into like a bigger star really, like obviously he's a star, but he's really good in this movie. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, and I didn't expect to. So yeah, I would go S tier actually. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Chris, what do you think for The Outsiders?
This is not based on the film. This is based on the fact that I've only read the book, and like Austin, do really love the book. Based on the fact that I've not seen the film, I either have to go haven't seen or just be generous with putting it in A tier because of the pedigree of the cast and the director. I'd be willing to put it in A tier just knowing the novel and thinking about how good it probably is. If people are happy to put it in A with a or / haven't seen.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. Well,
I would say haven't seen because you literally haven't seen the
Yeah.
movie. There's a lot of people that have read the book and not
Yeah,
seen the
that's all
movie.
Yeah,
I mean, the movie's going to be different. Yeah, you might like the movie more, you might like the movie less. I mean, that's kind of how the book thing works.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
Well, Mark,
Go to Mark.
what do you think for the Outsiders?
I would first like to address a question to everybody who has voted on it so far. Which version do you prefer? Do you prefer the original '82 version with the Carmine Coppola score, or the director's cut that uses period music?
I actually prefer the theatrical version. I did watch the extended one very recently because it popped up on HBO Max. It doesn't have even much to do with the score. It has more to do with the pacing. I think the pacing of the theatrical one is much better. The extended one, it's sort of for me like with the Aliens extended cut. There's stuff that's in there that's not quite necessary. It's okay little character stuff, but I think it's the theatrical one has just a better overall feel to it. So I actually prefer theatrical.
Just crapped out. So you guys keep going. Just talk amongst yourselves.
All right, Richie. Have you seen the extended one, or have you just seen the theatrical?
I'm back.
I think it's the theatrical one I saw. I didn't even know that. I honestly didn't know there was two versions.
Yeah, there's a new one called The Complete Novel. It's a new kind of extended cut with a little bit of different score and things like that. So, I actually, this is a situation for like Aliens. I prefer the theatrical cut. So
I've only seen the theatrical one too, so I have to go check out the newer one, see how it compares. But yeah.
Okay, well, I have not seen Coppola's extended version, but based off of my memories of the original theatrical cut, I can only give it an A, and the reason is that Susie Hinton was herself a teenager when she wrote the original book and all of her books, so they definitely have the emotional truth of teenage life, but they are they do kind of lean for the most part on a melodramatic romanticism, and along with that a sort of fatalism. And I think that everything is compelling and moving in The Outsiders, but I don't think it quite reaches a great coming of age movie, because it's basically just it's like a soap opera in a sense, and there is nothing wrong with that, but I don't think that it really makes it a good coming of age movie, because it's more about the grand tragedy of the story than it is about life lessons.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Well, Jacob, what do you think?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, for me, I'll give my thought. Did you picked it, Austin, right? So
yeah, I picked
it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I think that I said S tier. For some reason, I was thinking I didn't even give my thoughts, but I did.
Yeah, no, you did.
So good.
It has 3 S's in an A, so it might be in there, but maybe towards the bottom. Maybe towards the bottom last year. For real.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. All right. So it's my turn. So and I'm pretty sure that I know which one I want to pick. So I want to go with Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So this is one of my favorite kind of high school / coming of age movies. I just have a lot of fun with this. This is one that's fun to quote. Like it's fun to go back and like watch all the different scenes. It has a pretty awesome cast. I mean, you have Sean Penn, you have Jason Lee, Judge Reinhold. You have Phoebe Cates is like that like iconic scene where she's coming up out of the swimming pool, and with a lot of people's crushes when they were younger, when they saw this for the first time, and also you see her topless after that. So, but there's a lot of like pretty fun lines like that. Like probably my favorite character is probably Judge Reinhold when he's getting like screamed at by a customer at the fast food restaurant. And he's like, it says 100% guaranteed, you moron. And he's like, if you don't shut up, I'm going to kick 100% of your ass. So yeah, there's just some fun stuff, and also I just really love the depiction of like how they depict the mall and how they depict the high school and like all of those. There's some really cool looking set pieces and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna also shout out Sean Penn too for like being like the surfer guy who's like always high all the time, like ordering a pizza to a class. Me and my friends did that once. Actually, we were in high school. We actually ordered a pizza to class that showed up. So that was fun. But yeah, I'm gonna say S tier for Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Richie, what do you think?
One of my blind spots. Haven't seen it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Chris, what do you think?
I like the film. I don't know if I'd put it at S tier. I'd put it at low A, high B. To me, it just feels like I'm going to probably get my ass kicked here, but it just, to me, feels like an inferior version of Dazed and Confused. It's just,
sure.
It's more straight comedy than coming of age to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad film by any means. I just wouldn't put it at S tier.
Yeah. So if you had to pick one, would you go more A or B? Because we're just trying to tally the votes.
I'd probably put it in B.
Okay, yeah.
I'd call it B.
That's fair. Yeah. Well,
Mark,
what do you think?
Okay, I thoroughly adore Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but I am gonna throw the gauntlet down and say this is not a coming of age movie, and the reason is that aside from maybe Judge Reinhold as Brad Hamilton, this is a movie about in media res. All these characters are in the middle of their life experience. That there's not really any sort of great life-changing revelation that comes to any of them. Coming of age literally is about the transition into another stage of life, mostly adulthood. And none of these characters really change. We're just seeing a year in their life where interesting things happen and they fall in and out of love and of success. But there is nothing that really constitutes the big transition into adulthood. So I am saying not a coming of age movie.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. We'll see what the rest of the panel thinks. Jacob, what do you think?
I think Mark brings up some good points. He may have convinced me.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds good then. Austin, what do you think?
I don't know. Just research speaking, I saw it on a ton of coming of age lists from very reputable media outlets. So I know Mark disagrees, but I think it is. But even having said that, I'm almost in Chris's camp. I don't love Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I liked it. I'm in the same boat as Dazed and Confused. I think both those movies are good, but they're kind of products of their time. And to me, I didn't grow up in the 70s or 80s, so I have a hard time connecting to these movies when it's just like a day in the life of them in high school then. And again, I found a hard time connecting to a lot of the characters. I think Judge Reinhold's the one I connected kind of most to, just because I worked in the food industry as well. So I enjoyed the movie for what it was. I thought it was fairly entertaining. I would argue that it is, but I'll still put it at a B tier.
Okay, so I think that it still stays out of not a coming of age movie, but we have an S and 2 Bs, so maybe it falls into A probably. We just
Low A, yeah.
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 Well,
I would respectfully say that a lot of these so-called respectable outlets that put it on a list of coming-of-age movies are just kind of lazy and basically classify any movie that involves teenagers as a coming-of-age movie. So,
true. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I treat them the same way I would regard that scene in Matinee where they're watching the trailer for Mant, and John Goodman is saying, "The story of Mant is based in scientific fact, published in national magazines," and you can't read any of the damn magazines.
Yeah, right.
Well, Mark, we all know that 9 out of 10 doctors recommend Lucky Strike cigarettes, but
yeah, right. Yeah,
long smooth drawl, good for your throat.
Yep. Yeah. Well, leave it there, and we'll go back to Richie.
Go down to Richie.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna go, and I'll punt for A tier. I'm gonna go Clueless.
All right.
I again, a lot of these movies I was late to. I was late to Clueless, but yeah, I really had fun with this. I think Alicia Silverstone is great. I think it's a great modern sort of at the time modern retelling of Emma, and made it more interesting. So I'm not a huge Shakespeare guy, but yeah, and I just thought it was really entertaining. Is it? Who directed it? Amy? I can't remember.
Amy Heckerling.
Yeah. She has a great job, and I love Brittany Murphy in this. R.I.P. Stacey Dash. I don't know what happened to her, but yeah, I think it's a quality film, very entertaining, and so yeah, A.
Yeah, sounds good. Chris, what do you think for Clueless?
To be honest, I'd be putting it in the same category as Fast Times, where I don't personally class it completely as a coming-of-age movie. But so I'd be putting it in B tier. Just as strictly as a coming-of-age movie, I still think it is absolutely hilarious. Alicia Silverstone's gorgeous. R.I.P. Brittany Murphy. Obviously, she's brilliant in it. Donald Faison, who would later go into Fine City and Scrubs, is charming and hilarious as ever. Paul Rudd, it's Paul Rudd. What are you going to say about that guy? Just puts a smile on your face when he's on screen. But yeah, I'd put it in B tier for coming of age.
Yeah. Sounds good. Mark, what do you think for Clueless?
I'm gonna have to be the mean old man here and say not a coming of age movie. It's I again love this movie. I can quote so much of it, but I think it is first and foremost just a comedy of manners and not really a story about a proper coming of age. I mean, there are some Cher Horowitz learns some important lessons that to carry on with, but she's not yet transitioning into adulthood. She's still this is just navigating high school politics. So it's a wonderful movie, but it is not a coming of age film.
Yeah, fair enough. Jacob, what do you think?
I'm gonna stick with A tier as well. I think all the performances in this are really good. It's a fun movie. I really enjoy it, but it's not quite at S tier for me either. So I think it's perfect in A tier.
Yeah. Well, Austin, what do you think?
This one I will agree with Mark on because Cher is the same exact character at the beginning of this movie that she is in the end of the movie. She does not change one iota. She is still the daddy's girl, still popular girl at school. All she does is she somewhat goes out of her box to help, Brittany Murphy's character get a makeover, and that's about it. She doesn't really mature that much. She's the same character. I agree, it's a fun movie. If we were just grading it as sort of 90s rom-com kind of things, I'd give it like an A. I think it's really solid. But on this one, I'm going to agree with Mark. Not a coming-of-age movie.
Yeah, like I think, like based on your guys' points, maybe I kind of agree with you too on not a coming of age movie, and like really, I don't really like love this movie, but I like it. Like I'd probably as an overall movie give it about a B tier, but still is a fun time. But yeah, I think like kind of like you said, Austin, like the characters don't really change. They're never learn anything. They're just kind of the same exact characters from beginning to end. So yeah, I think that not a coming of age movie. So yeah, I think we have 3 votes, so we can move it
Well,
down.
it's 3 and 3. 3 people said it
Yeah.
is. 3 people said it isn't. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy.
What
I'm
do
happy.
you-
I'm happy to go with not a coming of age movie. As I said, I put it in the same class as Ridgemont High, where I said
Okay.
the worst is a comedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All right.
my thing is, like, if we have at least 3 that it goes there,
Yeah.
but we can give the benefit of the doubt for whoever picked it. We can do that sometimes, but yeah, but
But it's on several lists from many respectable sources.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I disagree about Fast Times, not about the characters not being in the same place, or but
Yeah.
Clueless, I agree with that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but
But
yeah. So
I get another shot.
Yeah, you can get another shot, Richie. Go ahead. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I'd give him another shot.
Sure.
All right.
We can.
I'll go a modern one that I think is really good and stands this time. I'll go Easy A.
All right.
I think Emma Stone's coming out.
Here, yeah, I see it.
And yeah, I would put an S. Why not?
That's okay.
I think it's like Emma Stone's still one of her better performances. Like she's a like she can lead a movie, and it's just again sort of maybe the similar vein to Clueless. It's so like a sort of modern retelling of what the Scarlet Letter, and it's really good, and the co-performance is really good. Like Lisa Kudrow is good as a principal, and I just really enjoy Easy A. So that's my vote. I'll go Easy A.
Yeah, sounds good. Chris, what do you think?
Once again, love this movie. I can't put it S tier. Just as a coming of age, I would put it in A tier, just because of Emma Stone's performance. But being an English lit nerd who had to read the Scarlet Letter in university, I pretty much saw what they were trying to do with the modern remake of it, and I just think there's other movies that are better than it that could go at S tier. But I'd put it A.
Yeah, sounds good. Mark, what do you think?
Not a coming of age movie. Sorry. I'm gonna.
I feel like I'm the
You
nicer
keep
version.
bitching them, I keep swatting them.
Clueless
Clueless was a clever repurposing of Emma, and Easy A is a clever repurposing of Scarlet Letter, but neither of them are coming of age movies. Emma Stone is hilarious, and it figures out a way to give a story a happy ending without being treacly, but it is not a coming of age story.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Jacob, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm quite at an S tier for Easy A. I think the performances in it are all fantastic. I think Emma Stone herself is S tier. I think she's always S tier.
Yeah.
but that's a discussion for another time. So yeah, I'll go A tier for easy A. It's an easy A for easy A.
Yep, easy A. Yep. But Austin, what do you think?
It's an easy not coming of age for easy A.
Yeah. Well,
Because Jordan wanted to add like 800 movies on the list, and I just didn't want to argue about nitpicking over it. I just said y'all can have the arguments over the thing.
well, I think that.
Well, and again, to be fair, when we're putting together rough drafts, we do consult, certain articles, and a lot of these are in there. And then, but yeah. Again, I think it is a thing where some of them, I would agree with Mark. They just see teenagers in a sex romp, and it's coming of age, or something like, or teens running around, and it's that's what they say it is. So I don't know. It's not critical.
Yeah. Well, I think Easy A is a coming of age movie. I'm not going to say that for this one, just because I think that the message she's trying to get across that actually works, and a lot of people that actually kind of get the message she's trying to portray, and have something to learn from that and to grow a little bit. I mean, it may not be like one of the first ones you think of when you think of coming of age, but I still think that it fits the bill. I probably wouldn't give it quite an S tier. I'd give it more of an easy A tier. Easy A. So yeah. So what are the votes here?
It's mostly A's, so let's go that A.
Like 3 A's, yeah. So yeah.
All right. Interesting point to bring up about this later on.
Yeah. Well, Chris, you're up next, so got one you want to pick?
This is going to be my Let's Watch the World Burn pick.
Yeah.
And this is, do I put it as not a coming of age, or do I put it at F because of personal hatred?
It's always fun to kind of crap on a movie. So.
I'm gonna put it at F. I'll accept any arguments for it not being a coming of age.
Please say Ferris Bueller. Please say Ferris Bueller.
No.
No, because I actually like that movie. This is a piece.
Okay.
Is this a family friendly show? How much can I swear?
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, you're fine.
This movie is a complete piece of shit. Anyone that watches this and likes it is objectively wrong, and should put their entire DVD collection in a fire and burn them all. It's Napoleon Dynamite. Screw this movie.
Oh boy, you're gonna piss off Jordan. Oh, wait till you hear Jordan's story about Napoleon Dynamite. Wait for it.
Yeah.
It's a horrible movie about boring people doing absolutely nothing. I'm a nerd. I am a geek. I think most of us are. These characters are unlikable as shit. And if I see one more Vote for Pedro t-shirt, in fact, I'm never going to see one again because people forgot about this movie about a year after it was released because they realized it wasn't.
I could have worn mine because I do own one.
And realized it wasn't that good.
I'm
going to put myself on mute and.
All right, and you won't be coming back, Chris. No.
I hope you enjoyed your first and last time on T-Racket.
Yeah. Well, Napoleon Dynamite was famously when we did my top 64, the movie that beat up my number one movie, Logan, in the first round, which is nuts because we had a bunch of my family on, and we live about an hour away from where this movie was filmed. We have family in the movie, so that's just why. But Mark, what do you think for Napoleon Dynamite?
Okay.
I'm sure it's an easy.
Okay. Well, first off, Chris's fierce admonishment just sounds so much lovelier with a burr behind it. So I can't wait to hear him castigate me when I say that I don't hate this movie. I am not nuts about it like some people are. I think it is interesting in the fact that what a lot of people never seem to discuss on Napoleon Dynamite is that it's a movie about breaking stasis. That there are so many gags where you're never sure, okay, what period is this taking place in? Is this the present? Is this, the past? Yeah, and I feel like it's about being in a place where very little is changed because it's just easier that way. And someone who is not even feeling particularly motivated to make change, even though they're on the losing end of it all, that they've just sort of resigned themselves to being, a loser in life, and meeting someone who just kind of shakes them out of their torpor and says, all right, if not for me, I'm going to do it for this other guy, and, tap into something I didn't know I had. And I would, that being said, you cannot give this anything more than, a B, just a flat out B, not a B plus, just a B. Yeah. That I feel like when it was picked up and released, they were hoping to create an instant cult film, and that I agree, the astroturfing behind that is annoying, but within there is the germ of something interesting in there, and I've watched it a few times over the years, and I enjoy coming back to it.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. Jacob, what do you think for Napoleon Dynamite?
I think this movie is fine. I think it's fine. I don't hate it. I don't think it's F tier.
No way.
But it's fine. I enjoyed it when it came out, and it's a fun movie to watch with friends, sure. But if I'm sitting home alone, am I gonna say, "Hey, you know what movie I want to watch right now? Napoleon Dynamite."
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that. So yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. I do like the character of Napoleon. I think Pedro as well. I think the best part of the movie is Rex Kwon-Do, and I don't think that has anything to do with coming of age. So I'll go C for Napoleon Dynamite.
Bow to your sensei. Come on. Yeah.
Bow to your sensei.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one funny
awesome.
line then at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I am here, but
Normally,
just like Peter Pan over there.
yeah.
Forget about it. Yeah.
Normally, I'd go overall as a movie at B, but I tend to bump it up to A usually whenever it comes up, because I did have one of the hardest laughs I've ever had in a movie theater at one particular scene when Napoleon. I was with my mom and my sister in the theater, and there's a scene where he puts on the dance tape, and the guy on the dance tape says something to the effect of, "Are you ready to sweat?" And he goes, "Yes," and he says it out loud, talking back to the screen. And I had one of the hardest laughs I've ever had. I damn near fell out of my chair laughing, and I was the only person in the theater laughing. While the rest of the crowd, Chris, might have agreed with you that it's a horrible film, I had a good time with it, and I cannot put it in F tier. Sorry, I will go A just for that fact.
Well,
This one's gonna be all over
Chris,
the place.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Why don't you ruin our life and eat all our steak? Come on. But yeah, like I love this movie like way more than like most human beings. Like this movie would be an S tier for me, but there's a lot of personal reasons why, because I live an hour away from where it was filmed. My cousin, he's in the movie. There's a scene where he's with the old farmer where he says, "Do the chickens have large talons?" And he's the kid in the green shirt that's standing there, and there's a close of him eating a hard-boiled egg. And then before this movie was actually made, I had been to Preston, Idaho, where it was filmed, and I've been to the director Jared Hess's house there, but before he was of any kind of notoriety. And so and yeah, like I understand this movie is very divisive. Like you either love it or you hate it. We had a couple of people here actually kind of middle of the road, so that's kind of refreshing to hear a little bit. But I mean, yeah, it's just so quotable. Like I could quote this movie for days. Like, Napoleon, don't you realize that I've been online chatting with babes all day? Like, there's just like so many lines you can just go on forever, and you either love it or you hate it. So for me, like, I mean, I'll just say, just to see if I can bump it up a little bit, I'm gonna say S tier, but it's very personal as to why. So I'll say S.
Bias.
Yeah,
I
a little biased,
I knew this would happen.
Yeah.
but sometimes you gotta be a little strategic on these shows. So yeah, but Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm sort of in the. I don't think it's an F, but I'm in the camp of I don't get it. I don't get the sort of feel around it. Like I probably need. I haven't watched it in ages, so I might need to watch it again. But yeah, like when it sort of came out and it blew up, I'm like, okay, I'll give it a watch. And it wasn't wasn't my thing. It did like every time I think of think of Jamiroquai now, I think of Napoleon Dynamite though. So it did that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's had its moments. So I didn't not enjoy it. I just don't think I don't enjoy it as much as other people seem to. Like people sort of laud this movie, and I don't understand. It's a fine movie. I would give it a C. I'm with Jacob.
Yeah.
Well, I think Jordan, it's enough all over the place. It just ends up in C because it's like some people like it, some people don't like it, some people think it's average. So it's right average in the middle of a C tier. So it can get bumped up.
Yeah. Well, like I've been went as far as to like have the weird like keyboard music. I used to have that set for my ringtone, like all the weird music in this, but not anymore. But like when the movie came out, so. But
all right,
but yeah, that's fair.
Mark, I can nominate a coming of age film, so please feel free to do that on this show.
When you feel
okay. All right, yeah. I've been saying what is and what ain't, so I need to really step up and say what is.
Maybe you should just be in charge of just nominate all the movies, and we'll just go around and we'll vote on all of them. We'll go from there.
No, do I look like Dick Clark? Right. Okay. My next pick for S tier coming of age is probably also going to be a little divisive, and that is going to be Terry Zweigoff's Ghost World. I feel like this is really one of the best movies of the noughties decade, and I feel like for as funny as it is also very just perceptive about how difficult it is to navigate adulthood when you consider yourself a rebel, that you feel like you can see through everything, that everything is a farce and a plot, and that you want to be above it all, and you don't want to be tethered to anything, and for a while you've got people who are in agreement with you, but then the demands of life come in, and you have to make certain decisions, and that if you don't tether yourself to something, you may just literally float away. And I feel like Ghost World just beautifully and bittersweetly captures that period of transition and the consequences of not taking it seriously.
Yeah. Sounds good. Jacob, what do you think for Ghost World?
I haven't seen it.
I figured that.
Well, Austin.
Well, no, I actually, I have seen Ghost World. And it was one of those times where I was frequently my local Blockbuster about every week, and I remember seeing an Entertainment Weekly article about the top 25 cult films, and Ghost World was on there. So I went out of my way to rent it, and this movie blew me away. I thought it was great, and I've gone back to it at least once. It's probably been about 10 years, but I remember thinking, Scarlett Johansson and Thora Birch are excellent in this movie. Yeah, they're definitely like at a crossroads where they want to kind of hang out together, but they know that their lives are probably going to drift apart, and they're kind of clinging on to it. Steve Buscemi's great. This movie is one of his great kind of underrated performances that people overlook. And yeah, it's a really solid coming of age movie, and yeah, it's definitely very, very quirky, and definitely it's got that indie, early 2000s kind of post Kevin Smith and Tarantino kind of indie vibe to it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. So I'll go S tier for Ghost World. This is one I hadn't thought of in a long time, but going back to it, this movie was great. So I'll back up S tier for Ghost World.
Yeah, so I also haven't seen it, so I can't really comment. So you have to tell me more about why I should see it, because you've done pretty good so far. So I'll probably check it out. But But Richie, what do you think?
I have seen it. It's been so long though. I think I saw it when it first came out. So I do remember liking it, but I need to give it a rewatch because I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember liking it, and I miss the Roy Burton movies. But I like because my memory is still sort of like foggy and I need to do a rewatch. I know, but I do enjoy it. I'll put it an A.
Yeah, sounds good. Chris, what do you think?
I can be a bad guy again here.
No.
It's not. I don't dislike it as much as I dislike Napoleon Dynamite, but I'd put it in C. It's saved by the performances by Thora Birch, Scarlett Johansson, and Steve Buscemi, in my opinion. It just for me, it falls into that kind of. I don't even know when was this actually released.
2001, I think.
Yeah.
2001. Yeah, I can tell that it has that very kind of the Daria, the MTV generation. It feels like it came out about 5 years too late, and it falls into that kind of quirky, almost cynical. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's that great a film. It's really just carried by the performances of the three main cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not terrible. It's just fine.
Yeah. Well, sounds good. What are the votes at, Austin?
2 S's, an A, and a C. So the S's still boosted, probably at least a low A, but yeah, it might be in contention for an honorable mention. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
all right,
Jacob, you're up. So
let's see if I can pick a movie all of us have seen.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know what? I will go. This might be another one that you can go ahead and stop. This might be another one that I am, going really high on too early. But I'm going to go with Love, Simon. I think Love, Simon is a fantastic movie. I'll go S tier for it. I think it's great. I think the performances all around are great. Jennifer Garner and somebody help me with the dad. Is it Josh
Timothy
Duhamel?
Elephant, isn't it?
I think it's Josh Duhamel.
Oh, excuse me.
As the dad.
Okay.
Or it could be. I don't know. But Jennifer, I think they're great as the parents. I think Nick Robinson, Catherine Lang, like all the performances in this are great. I love the story of it. This movie, the first time I saw it in the theaters, I went back to it as soon as it was on Blu-ray. I bought it and watched it again. It's a good story, and I love the acceptance in it that is shown towards Simon. Like, everybody cheering him. He's just waiting on that Ferris wheel, and people are watching. People are trying to, they're cheering for him, and I think it's great. Again, this might be one that I am, maybe it needs some time, but who cares? I love it.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, Austin, what do you think?
I don't even know what Love, Simon is. Sorry, Jacob.
Really? Oh man. Well,
I think it was like a March release in I want to say 2018.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen Love, Simon, but I do know what it is. Like, I remember seeing the trailers for it, where it's like kind of looking at the other guy's shoes and that kind of thing. But I haven't seen it. But I did really dig the trailer, so I'll eventually get around to it for sure. But I just I can't really talk about it now. So, but Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, people in every sort of sections of this community rave about Love, Simon. But that doesn't mean I haven't got around to seeing it, because I haven't. So
yeah. Well, so much for picking one people have seen, Jacob. But Chris,
you may as well round out the haven't seen it crowd.
Yep. Well, Mark, have you seen it?
Yes, I have, and you know what? I am gonna make another protest vote and put it in S tier as well, because there have been other very good coming of age movies centered on gay teenage characters, but none of them have penetrated the popular consciousness the way Love, Simon did. I think, and that is a testament to the talent involved in it. Greg Berlanti did a film previous to it called The Broken Hearts Club, which was adult characters, but also just a really wonderful, warm hug of a movie. And yeah, I feel like that it demonstrates that even though this is an ostensibly gay experience, it is presented in such a warm, friendly way that it becomes universal. And I think that is something that we need to keep in mind when it comes to representation on film, and that the more individualistic it is, bizarrely the more universal it becomes, whereas the more standard you try to make it, the more bland and unrelatable it becomes. So yeah, I'll go S tier for Love, Simon, but I know at this point it's
Yeah. At this point, we're gonna have to bring it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to have it seen, but we got a couple of S tiers, so I mean, it's definitely one that you guys said is pretty good, so we should check it out. So
I'm batting
It's
one
really
for
good,
three
man.
tonight.
Yep. Well, you can have another pick, Jacob. So
Okay.
Pick another
I'll go with one that I'm pretty sure everybody has seen, and that's going to be Juno.
okay.
I'll go Juno for S tier. I think Michael Cera and Elliot Page are wonderful together. I really like the two of them together. Another one, I believe this is another one with Jennifer Garner. So
Yeah.
and J.K. Simmons. I think just all the performances in this are fantastic. I think the dialogue is really good. I'm just hoping not everyone I'm hoping everyone has seen this one. That's my only goal now, is to pick a movie. That's the goal.
Wait till you hear my
Yeah.
next pick. It'll probably just be me and Mark. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. You never know. But Austin, what do you think for Juno?
I like Juno, but I really haven't gone back to it in like 10 or 15 years, and there's a reason for that. It's just so kind of offbeat and quirky. I do like it. It's just, I think Jason Reitman kind of went on to bigger and better things with stuff like Up in the Air, and even his movie before this, Thank You for Smoking. I'm a bigger fan of that movie than this one. It's just so. It's so like, yeah, just the dialogue and everything. Like you either go kind of all in on it or you don't. I was kind of half in on it, but I did say I picked up a few songs on my Spotify of those little quirky, goofy songs that are in this and put them on my playlist. I like Juno. I don't love it, but I would still put it in A tier. I think it's strong. It's strong acting from everybody involved. The only thing that gets a little awkward for me is the sort of whatever you call the relationship between her and Jason Bateman in that movie is a little weird. But yeah, I'll go A tier for Juno.
Yeah. For some reason I always forget that this is a movie directed by Jason Reitman, but it is, and I really like it. Yeah, and usually every time that I watch it, I want to go out and get one of those things of orange Tic Tacs because that's a thing in the movie. But yeah, it's a solid movie. It's probably my favorite thing from Elliot Page, and yeah, but I don't know if I would go as high as S tier, but I'd probably say A tier. So I'll put it in the A. But I will shout out J.K. Simmons also as her father in the movie. I think he does a really good job. But yeah, I'll say A. But Richie, what do you think for Juno?
Yeah, I really like Juno. I got I actually when it came out on DVD, I pre-order it, and I did get orange Tic Tacs with it. So
Nice.
yeah, and I do really like the chemistry between Elliot Page and Michael Cera. I think it's really good. Yeah, and I also put some songs from this movie on my playlist, and I tend to agree with the relationship with Jason Bateman and stuff is a bit weird. That's the only sort of negative I have on it. But I do really like this movie. I would probably put it an A as well. It is a really good movie, but just not quite S tier for me.
Yeah. Well, Chris, what do you think for Juno?
This is where I put aside my personal bias or not. Objectively, I want to put it in A tier, just because it is a good movie. But I'm gonna have to put it in B, the same as I did with Ghost World. Just it's got that kind of trying too hard, quirky thing going for it that just turns me off. At first, I really didn't like it, and then I watched it again a few years later. I went, okay, I can kind of get into this, but I'd have to put it in B tier personally, just the personal dislike of that kind of style.
Yeah, it's a little quirky, yeah, but Mark, what do you think for Juno?
I'll go with S tier on this, and normally I wouldn't. Normally I would say that a film would need some more time, but I feel like Juno changed the game very quickly, both in terms of the depiction of teenage girls in movies, especially the types of teenage girls that were being depicted in movies. I think it is very interesting in that, Juno's best friend is the pretty one, and normally in another teen film, Juno would have been the wisecracking sidekick who didn't get the focus in the story, and so demonstrating that flip of characters and the fact that the pretty girl is not regard there's really no antagonists in this movie. It is ultimately just about going, trying to figure out what is the best decision to make in life, and thus the only antagonist is oneself, especially in Jason Bateman's character, who's trying to latch on to lost youth by his infatuation with Juno. So I think, and I love Diablo's work, and full disclosure, I've had multiple encounters with her, so I am showing my bias here, showing my work. And I feel like there was a patch of time when there was a lot of ugliness directed at Diablo Cody for being a writer with a specific voice, and people getting really nasty about it. But that means that for better or worse, she made an impact on the culture. So, and it is still present to this day, that even though her output has slowed down some, that her if you say the name Diablo Cody, people know what kind of film you're talking about. So I think it has earned its place into S tier.
Yeah. Well, what are the votes, Austin?
2 S's, couple of A's, and a B. So it's not quite there, but it's higher. It's the highest of the A's so far. So it's still going to be the high A tier, the highest one so far. So it's a pretty strong contender for that honorable mention slot right now. So
and we've all seen it,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've all seen it, and
mission accomplished.
Anything's possible. It could even get the bump up. You never know. Those things.
It could get the bump. Yeah, if we don't get enough stuff in the S tier, it could get a bump up. We'll see. For sure. All right.
Yeah. Well, throw it over to Austin. You're up next. So
I'm going to go with one of the earliest examples of a coming of age film, and one that kind of set a prototype for the sort of teenage alienation sort of thing. I'm going to go with James Dean's Rebel Without a Cause, right there in the middle, right next to Risky Business. Yeah, this is one of the earliest examples of it. Yeah, like 1955 or 56. And it's still, surprisingly, when you go back to it, it plays very modern and deals with a lot of things that a lot of themes you will see in a lot of modern sort of teenage rebel kind of movies. But this is one of the first big examples. Obviously, it got very famous because of James Dean's untimely death, shortly after this movie and the couple of movies, only the few movies he got to do. But yeah, it deals with a lot of stuff and really kind of the psychological breakdown of a teenager being pulled in 100 different directions, as he's trying to transition in his life. It's about, there's a lot of things with parental disappointment and, almost like modern toxic masculinity, trying to be like not a coward, but be masculine, but, not wanting to be a troublemaker full on, but being kind of pulled in that direction. And, there's all kinds of the famous lines of this one that Tommy Wiseau would fail to do so, recreate in the room, you're tearing me apart. Not you're tearing me apart, Lisa, but you're tearing me apart. But yeah, Dean's really good in it. Natalie Wood's in this movie. She's very good. There's a very young Dennis Hopper that pops up in this movie. But yeah, it feels surprisingly modern and way ahead of its time. And it's the one that kind of set a template for a lot of movies that would come after it. So I would argue for, I don't know if enough people have seen it. We'll see. But I will shoot for an S tier for Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah. I haven't seen Rebel Without a Cause, but I really need to watch it. Actually, I have a photograph of my grandpa where he looks exactly like James Dean in the photo. He has the same red leather jacket. He's on a motorcycle, and that's one of the things that like my grandma, when they always talk about when they first met that he reminded her a lot of James Dean at the time. So, but I just haven't gotten around to seeing it, so I can't really comment on it. So, but Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, I have actually seen it. Surprising enough, So I used to, when I was a kid, when I was with mom and dad, we had this on VHS, and I really enjoyed it, and it's I can't really add much to what Austin's already said, but I think I haven't gone back to it for a while. I watched it a few years ago, but I think I'm due for a rewatch. But I think it's a really good movie, so I'll concur with this.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. Chris, what do you think?
I'm just gonna have to say, haven't seen it. It's a major blind spot. I know I need to.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty certain Mark has seen it, so hopefully he'll back me up. I'm pretty certain he's seen Rebel Without a Cause. I would hope so.
I have seen Rebel Without a Cause. I would put it in A tier because it is a very potent and well-meaning film, and obviously I am very glad that that people who have seen it in the present find modern relevance to it, but ultimately I feel like it is more melodrama, written from the perspective of people who think they know what teenage life is like versus what it actually was. Because, and in fairness, the very notion of teenagers was a new thing in the 50s. That we sometimes forget that the very notion of adolescence is less than 150 years old. That even at the beginning of the 1900s, when you were 13, if you were a boy, you got conscripted into the military, and if you were a girl, you got married off. That the notion of having a protected status from 13 to 18, where you got to stumble around and discover adulthood, is a new concept. So I think when Rebel was written, they were still grappling with, well, how do we depict someone who is not a boy but not quite a man? And I feel like you had to bring up that motherfucker Tommy Wiseau. Certain aspects of the movie, I think, they play more. I feel like they distance me from relating to it. I would like to throw in, though, as a sidebar, there is a wonderful film from the 70s called September 30th, 1955, which is a loosely autobiographical film by the late James Bridges, who did Urban Cowboy and the China Syndrome. And it is about a teenager in a small Arkansas town who is obsessed with James Dean and goes about a major life change on the day that James Dean dies. And Richard Thomas and Lisa Blount are in it, and it has early appearances by Dennis Quaid and Dennis Christopher and Tom Hulse from Animal House. It's a wonderful film to seek out. So A tier for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do we?
Jacob?
We have oh yeah, Jacob. Yeah.
Well, Gordon, just assume that I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I see.
Because I have actually seen it.
Oh, surprising me.
Yeah, no, I have seen it. I watched it a few days ago, actually, because I saw it on the list, and I knew that it was on HBO Max, so I turned it on to watch it. I wanted to watch at least one movie from this list that I haven't seen. This was the one that I chose, and I'm glad I did, because I really thought this was a great movie. I think James Dean is fantastic, and Natalie Wood, she gives a great performance. Yeah, and just from the beginning of this movie, I was hooked. Just kind of seeing that relationship between James Dean and his parents. I think that can be relatable for some. I think everything in this movie can be relatable to somebody, and I think it can have some modern relevancy to it. I definitely can agree with that. So I will go S tier for Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah, sounds good.
Really enjoyed it. Really stuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll bump it up a little bit.
At least take solace, Mark, that an older film from the 50s is still connecting with somewhat younger people. So that's not a bad thing.
No, I won't argue with that. More of that, please.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, it's got the same as The Outsiders right now, 3 S's and an A. So it'll kind of hang out around maybe the bottom of S tier, but it'll still kind of skirt in there. So, all right.
Yeah.
And we'll go to you, Jordan. So what do you got?
Well, so what do I was thinking really quick, because I know both Jacob and Chris have got to run really quick. I was thinking maybe if you guys want to have one more pick each, you could do that really quick if you want.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Do you guys have to scoot out soon? Yeah.
Okay. So probably start with Chris. If you want to pick one more before you head off, you can do that.
I'll put one that I think it'll get brought up. I want to talk about it anyway, just 'cause it's fairly recent. I'll pick Booksmart.
Yeah.
Some people might want to bump it up to an S tier. For a lot of the reasons we've talked about already, I'd put it at a solid B, just because I think it's too modern to really tell if it's going to stand the test of time. But I just remember seeing this in 2019 and never being a teenage girl. It made me feel like one. I instantly fell in love with the characters in this film, including I'm trying to remember, is it Hope, the girl that just shows up randomly throughout the movie, like completely stoned out her face, running around doing absolutely crazy shit. It's just I just thought that was a nice wee touch of comedic genius. The fact that the high school limo driver is their principal, which, as someone who went to study to be a teacher for a very brief time and had thought, I can believe that teacher working a second job as a limo driver and having to pick up their students. It's just a charming movie and a great first time from Olivia Wilde, I believe it was, directed it.
Yeah.
So a great first time directorial debut as well. Just a really charming movie. And I think one day it could be S tier, but at the moment I just put it B. I just wanted to talk about it.
Sounds good. Well, Mark, what do you think?
Oh, I'll give it a full on A. That it's bizarre and unfortunately timely that within the span of 18 months there were 3 films all centered on. I'm sorry. I'm thinking. Yeah, I okay. Scratch that. We won't. No, Booksmart is terrific, and it is again depicting characters that we have been denied in most 15 films and showing us experiences we haven't seen. And yes, the supporting performance by Billie Lourd, that should have gotten a supporting actress nomination at the Oscars. It is just such a beautifully realized comic character, and I think that it's a little on the fence in terms of being an actual coming of age movie, but I'm gonna err on the side of saying yes, it is, because of navigating change, and whether that is going to separate you from people who have been in your life for a long time. And yeah, so all in for fresh representation.
Yeah. Sounds good. Jacob, what do you think?
I really enjoyed Booksmart. I thought it was great. I'm not gonna go as low as a B. I think I'll give it an A as well. I think it's. I've heard the comparison of comparing it to Superbad, and I can see that comparison, and I'd say I probably enjoy Booksmart a little more than Superbad. I think it's funny. I think the writing in it is really good. I think the performances just all deliver. So I'll go a pretty high A for Booksmart.
Yeah, sounds good. Austin, what do you think?
I'll go A as well for Booksmart. I think it's a solid spot for it. I even enjoyed it just as on the aesthetic of a One Crazy Night movie. We brought it up on One Crazy Night shows, and it fits that mold. And I even just enjoyed it as that. I think the animated or stop motion doll sequence is particularly enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's fun stuff. But I thought all the performances are great. The chemistry was. I didn't know really where it was going kind of throughout the movie, so I enjoyed it in that, and that's just good writing. I thought Booksmart was solid. I give it an A.
Yeah. I think I would actually even go a step further. I'd give it an S. I actually love this movie. Like I think that that's great, and Olivia Wilde directed the hell out of this thing for a debut, first time movie. Like really solid stuff. There's a lot of like things depicted with friendship and like sexuality and all that stuff. Like it's really good stuff. And then there's some great humor. Like you kind of talk about the girl Hope just showing up. She's up like on the party on the boat, and then she's up at like every party just shouting out random things. And but yeah. I have a fun time with this movie, and it's one that I go back to pretty often, actually. So yeah, we'll say S tier for me. So, but Richie, what do you think?
I think I'm going to be a heel again, not by saying that the movie's bad or anything like that. I just haven't seen it. I know I have to. I just haven't got around.
Okay. Well,
I was about to kick you off.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where are the votes at there?
Yeah, it's right around Fast Times, kind of mid A.
Okay.
Is where it's going to end up. Actually, it's actually going to get bumped up from B. So yeah.
All right. Well,
all right, Chris.
Yeah, I'm happy people
go.
bumped up, to be honest. I didn't think people would bump up, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah. We're gonna let Jacob have one more pick, but if you got to bump off, Chris, you can hang around for Jacob's pick, or if you got
I go hang around for Jacob's pick. He hung around for mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
What do you want to go for, Jacob? For one last pick.
I will go for another one that I'm pretty high on that I don't know if other people are. I'm gonna go with Charlie Bartlett. It's up higher.
Okay.
With Anton Yelchin.
Yeah.
I really dig his performance in this movie, particularly. Again, this might be one that is underseen because apparently 3 out of the 4 movies that I chose previously were underseen, and that's okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think he's fantastic in this as sort of I believe he's like becomes like a drug dealer,
psychiatrist. I thought he was like a psychiatrist or something, but is he dealing drugs on the side? I can't remember.
Drug dealer, psychiatrist.
All the same thing.
Yeah. Therapeutic advice and prescription drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one of his Anton Yelchin's. I think this is one of his better performances. Another actor who was gone too soon. I would have loved to have seen him continue. I think he was a phenomenal actor. I think anything he was in, I loved him in. And this is higher up on the list than most. I think it's underrated. I don't think enough people have seen it. I think he's fantastic. I think Kat Dennings, Robert Downey Jr. Is really good as his. I believe it's his teacher, not the principal. I always get confused with it.
Yeah.
But he's fantastic. Like just everything about this movie, I just love it. I just think it's a fun time. Another underseen movie that I will champion and recommend whenever it's on a list. So
Yeah. Sounds good. Austin, what do you think for Charlie?
Yeah,
Barton?
I saw it when it came out. I haven't seen it since then, which has been like 15 years or something like that.
2007,
yeah, it's been a minute. I remember having a good time with it, and yeah, it was like right before Downey blew up again, with Iron Man like a year later. So it was like in that weird transitional period where he was in this and like I forget there was like one other movie or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, stuff like that. But yeah, like Anton Yelchin's really good. I remember having a good time with it. So I remember having positive feelings about it. I'll go A. I'll go A just because I haven't seen it recently enough to go S.
Yeah, this is also one of those movies that I saw when it came out. I did see it in theaters, but I haven't really gone back to it since, and I don't really remember a lot about the movie, but I do remember just kind of Anton Yelchin interacting with Kat Dennings and Robert Downey Jr. in there. I remember it being a fun time, and yeah, like I'm a huge Anton Yelchin fan, so anything he's in, like I'm always super high on it. Like it's really tragic what happened to him. He died way too young, but yeah, I remember having a fun time with it. So yeah, I think I'll also say A. So, but Richie?
I feel like me and Jacob have traded places in this episode because I have not seen it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Well, Chris, what do you think?
So try and vamp for a bit before Mark can get back.
Yeah.
Other than saying I've not seen it, but I really want to now that I've heard about it. And hearing that
highly recommend it. It's great.
Yeah.
It sounds like a great cast.
Well,
don't believe if you look it up. Don't believe the Rotten Tomatoes score. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't know.
I never believe those. Never believe that.
Yeah.
There we go. He's back.
Yeah.
Oh, did we have a whole bunch of haven't seen it?
Only two.
Yeah. No, we've got 3 qualified votes so far, so Charlie Butler will end up somewhere.
Yeah. But what do you think, Mark, for Charlie Bartlett?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
Well, Jacob, it had 3 votes, S and 2A, so it'll be mid A, mid low A, so it'll stay on the chart at least. Yeah.
Right there.
So at least that's a
by the way,
win.
if you want to watch it, it is streaming free on Tubi.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'll have to figure out where that is in the UK.
Yeah.
I think it's also on Amazon Prime, actually.
Yeah. Well, with that, we'll let Chris and Jacob run. I know you got to go, but we'll start with Chris. Do you have anything you want to plug real quick, or let us know where we can find you?
Not really. As I said the other night on whatever other thing we've been doing this week. You can find me around losing at movie trivia and giving controversial
Top
takes
12,
on movies that everyone else loves sometimes. Thanks for having us again.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Yeah. Jacob, where can we find you?
You can find me here. I'll let Austin and Richie plug the other stuff, so we can get back to ranking movies. But I'll just say that I will be on Rank 'em with Malcolm on Sunday We will be doing
Okay.
the top 12 Andy Samberg movies, and I just realized that that might be a stretch. So
Yeah, because
aiming for
he's
that.
got like 14 movies, about 10 of which are cameos. So he's got like 3 starring roles and a bunch of cameos.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, saying
Yeah.
Andy Samberg movies is going to be a real stretch, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but that'll be fun. And then I'm competing in some movie trivia, which I don't do very often, but to celebrate Henry Sanchez's birthday, he's doing some trivia, so I'll be doing that on Saturday. And then like I said, I'll let Austin and Richie
Nice.
plug
Alright.
the other stuff at the end of the show that we do.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, this was fun. And I'm surprised that I brought up movies that most of the panel hasn't seen, because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's usually opposite for you. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Cool. Well, take care, guys. Thanks again. So see y'all later.
All right. Well, in our normal order, Jordan was next, so I'll let him get
Yeah.
his next pick. Yeah, before we jump
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
Yes. So for my next pick, I want to go with kind of a more modern one too, just to see what you guys think. I know there are a few comments that if it's modern, maybe you got to give it some time to see where it sinks in. But for me, this is one of those movies that just hit me right away when I saw it. It's actually in my top 25 movies of all time. It hit me that hard, and so I'm gonna go with the movie Dope. So Dope is the movie that I really love. That just a really fun, just kind of like. I want to compare it almost like in a similar. Well, I don't really want to say it's like anywhere near the same as Boys in the Hood, but they kind of have a similar kind of growing up in that sort of way, and where like every time going home they have to pass through this like very dangerous neighborhood where there's a lot of like shootings, a lot of crime, a lot of things going on that are just like is super dangerous. And then you have Shamik Moore who he plays the voice of Spider-Man in Into the Spider-Verse, and he's someone that I've been championing to do the live action version of Miles Morales. Actually, I think he'd make a great version for that. But yeah, there's just a lot of like pretty interesting things that he goes through with all of his friends, and then you have Kiersey Clemens in there. You have Zoe Kravitz in there. I even like the I think his name's Tony Revolori, who plays one of his best friends. There's some things involving drugs. There's even Blake Anderson from Parks and Rec. He shows up too. It's kind of like one of the like more druggy kind of guys. But and then the music too. The music's really solid. Like if you're a fan of like old school hip hop from like the like 80s and early 90s, like this is right in my wheelhouse as far as that style of music goes. Like I love all that kind of music. That's the kind of music that I grew up with. So yeah, like this movie hit me really hard. Like it kind of has a really powerful ending, and yeah, just like it really makes you think about a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna say S tier for Dope, and we'll see what you guys think. But Richie, what do you think?
I really like Dope. I don't know if I would put it in the S tier, mainly because I need to rewatch. It didn't hit me as hard, but yeah, like it's solid performances all around, and yeah, the soundtrack is definitely it definitely elevates it, and I'm a huge fan of that type of music. So yeah, no, it is a great movie, and yeah, I would actually champion also Shamik Moore being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's really good. But yeah, I'd go A.
Yeah, sounds good. Mark, what do you think for Dope?
I am not only sad to say that I haven't seen the film, but because I wasn't sure if I hadn't seen the film, I quickly skimmed as much as I could to try and jog my memory. And so,
Okay.
I mean, I'm still going to go see it now based on everyone's recommendation, but I had to spoil a lot of it in order to realize that I had not.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair enough. Austin, what do you think for Dope?
Yeah, I saw Dope in the theater because I liked what the trailers were showing. You know, with dude having the Kid and Play haircut, and being into the old, Yo MTV Raps tapes and all that kind of stuff. And it's funny because the first 30 minutes of this movie, when it was just kind of him being this guy kind of obsessed with this nostalgia that he didn't actually live through, I was really on board for that stuff, and I was kind of into it. The second half of the movie, where it kind of gets more, and I won't spoil anything, but when it gets more into the drug plot, of him like running around, interacting with the drug dealers, I was not as into, and it went in directions where I just wasn't, I wasn't crazy about kind of where the movie went, and even then I didn't find it terribly great. I was just way more into like this story of this kid kind of stuck in a time that he wasn't about. So while I liked Dope, I didn't love Dope, and that's the reason I haven't gone back to it at the time, and right now I would still give it a B. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, fair enough. But one of the things that always jumps out to me, there's a scene where he like goes to pick up drugs from on this girl's house, and like she's totally cracked out or like on some kind of drug, and starts chasing them around the yard, totally naked and like just like in a crazy drugged out daze. For some reason, like that always makes me laugh pretty hard. But
I will say that they and this isn't spoiling anything from the movie, Mark. There's a end credits montage of him doing almost like a music video dance to the Humpty Dance, and it looks filmed like an old music video, and it's a lot of fun. I will say, and him doing very just old school hip hop moves and stuff, and it's very, very enjoyable. So I will say that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but where are the votes at? Like SA and B?
It's SAB, so like literally right in the middle. Yeah, in A.
All right.
So yeah. So we'll see.
We'll just put it maybe right there. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
so I think we'll go around for everybody here one more time, and then we'll do our kind of Hail Mary last chance shout outs. But we'll go around one more time. So Richie, you got another one you want to talk about?
I'll top there. We talk about it a lot on this channel, but I will go 10 things I hate about you.
all right.
I think this movie is and I'll say yes, this movie is great. Definitely like the sort of coming out party for Heath Ledger, who had been a star on the rise here for a long time, and then transitioned to Hollywood quite seamlessly. That's just a fantastic movie about and again I don't know if I have these. I feel this is the third movie I've championed, which is an adaptation of something else, an adaptation of Shakespeare or adaptation of adaptation of Taming the Shrew. I think it's a great movie. It still holds up, and I really like the supporting roles in this movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. S tier, but I'm prepared for you to go. Not coming of age, but I'll say yes.
We'll see. Yeah.
Mark.
Well, Mark. Yeah, what do you think?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. well, Austin.
I'm trying to remember enough of it to make an argument one way or another. The coming of age aspect, I think it is enough of one. So I'll say that. I'll go. You know what? I might go S tier for 10 things I hate about it. I was a little late to the party. I just saw it for the first time like a year ago, so I was really late to it. I didn't kind of grow up seeing this movie on. For whatever reason, I just never caught this on cable or never caught it at the video store. Really good cast all around. Everybody kind of throws in a great performance. You know what? Like for as much as I enjoyed it, even coming to a late thing, I'll go S tier. But I will say that if it was into the rankings of the coming of age, I think it would be a little on the lower end for me. Like it'd be like a low S.
Yeah. Well. I think I'm right there with you guys. Like this is actually one of my favorite rom-coms of all time. The problem is that like I don't know how much of a coming of age movie it is, but I think just because I love it so much, and I do think that there is a little bit of room for that shows the growth of these characters. I'll say that it just squeaks in for me for a coming of age movie. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say yes as well. I mean, S as well. So, yeah, I'll say S for 10 Things I Hate About You. So,
okay.
Yeah, so we got... Yeah, we got 3 S's, but, I mean, it's less votes than some of the other ones, so we'll kind of see. We'll kind of play around with it, where it ends up. But yeah, so We'll go back to Mark. So you got another one you wanna talk about?
Okay. Well, I'm not sure whether to go with the one that everybody has seen, and I guess we've just been figuring somebody else was going to get around to it, or whether I should go a little bit deeper. But I think I'm gonna go on the deeper end, and I'm gonna nominate "A River Runs Through It" for S tier.
All right, let's see.
And this may seem a little off because the two main characters are a little past high school, that they're already kind of in young adulthood, but there is definitely inexperience and learning processes to take place. It's very poignant. It has one of my favorite passages as recited by Tom Skerritt playing the boy's father, who is also a reverend, and that it doesn't have the youthful exuberance that most of these other films have, and it's extremely elegiac. But I think it is very important in terms of the genre. And since I have the floor, I also want to say, Emily Lloyd, I know you had a rough time, but if you're feeling okay, I hope you're well. But if you can, please come back. We miss you tremendously.
Yeah.
You're if you have not seen Emily Lloyd's output during the time that she was an active actress, you need to check it out. Wish You Were Here, Cookie, and this film particularly. She is alive but in seclusion, and we lost something very special when she dropped out.
Yeah, I would second that for sure. But Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen A River Run Through It. I went on a Robert Redford kick like 10 years ago, and then I came across this one because when I was going through IMDb, and I was like, oh, it's a Robert Redford movie, and then you watch it and he's not in it. It's just like he directed it, and then it's like, oh, it's a directed Robert Redford movie. I was like, okay, yeah, but it was still really good. It's a very it's a very visual movie, but it's told very well. I like kind of what it's doing with the strict parenting of the preacher, and kind of where the kids kind of branch off, because one kind of stays in line and the other one goes off gambling and drinking and running amok, so to speak. And but it's a very simple story, but I think it's well done enough. I'm afraid it might linger into that territory. It might all hinge, I think, on Richie. But I'll back up Mark's S tier for River Runs Through It. I think it's kind of an understated S tier. Like it's a movie that you would think would be a little more revered and remembered, but I think it just, whatever reason, it got kind of lost in the shuffle, and I'm not really sure why. But it just kind of did.
Yeah. Well, I actually haven't seen A River Runs Through It, so I can't really comment too much. But I will say that Emily Lloyd, I remember her from the movie Wish You Were Here, so that's one that I have seen her in. But I have not seen A River Runs Through It, so that's on my blind spots to watch this. So yeah, I can't comment. But Richie?
Can't believe all this pressure put on me because I haven't seen it.
Oh. Well, do we put it down in the haven't seen? We only have 5 of us now, so I mean, we could leave it.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be one of those borderline ones. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, because we got even less people here now to chime in on whether they've seen it or not.
What were the votes on it?
We'll see.
I think it was 2 S's and 2 haven't seen.
2 haven't seen.
Yeah.
So it's really
there's
50-50.
4 of us here, so it's an even split.
Yeah.
We could leave it at the bottom of the S tier. We can kind of take it into consideration that less people saw it when we're doing our final rankings. You know? So
it's on Netflix right now. I looked it up, so you should watch it.
Okay. Nice.
Good.
Well, Austin, you got one more?
Yeah. So I think what did I just have? I mean, I guess, the one Mark was referring to. Do I just bring up "Stand by Me" and we just get it out there before the Hail Mary round?
Yeah.
Because that's probably what he was referring to. So yeah, I mean,
What
why
was the
not?
thumbnail
Sure.
that I used for this? Because I kind of feel like it's iconic for the coming of age. Yeah.
Is it them? Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we probably should just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see.
and for
Where's it at?
well, I don't have the. Yeah, I don't know where it is. You got
Why
to
am I not
scroll around.
seeing it?
I don't know. Did you put it there in the top, or did
Maybe
you
I forgot
thumbnail
that.
it and forget to put it in the thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you forgot
Maybe I
to
did that.
put in
You
the
Yeah.
actual
thumbnailed it and forgot to put it in
poster.
the
Oh,
actual
okay.
thing. You better do
Well,
that because it's gonna end up in the S tier. So you probably should while we're
yeah,
Yeah.
talking. Try
let's,
to.
let's go ahead and talk about it really quick. Like, I'll just come to me last because I already have a thumbnail I pulled up, so I'll just add it in. So,
Okay.
but just go
Well, we'll
ahead.
just go around and get the votes, and we'll let him set that up. But yeah, I mean, while I didn't grow up with this movie, I came to this movie rather late, like probably like my late 20s. So, I know a lot of people saw this very early on video or caught it on television. I remember catching bits and pieces of it, but I never sat down to watch it until probably like 10 years ago. And yeah, while it's not going to end up in my top 100 movies or anything of all time, I think for a standard coming of age film, I'd be willing to put it in an S tier because it's definitely a quintessential one of kids growing up very, very fast and encountering some very adult things. Obviously with the body and the people they're dealing with. Yeah, I mean, and the chemistry between all the main ensemble cast of characters. With Corey Feldman and Will Wheaton and River Phoenix and
He's
Jerry
gonna
O'Connell, like they're all great. Yeah,
he's
they're
gonna mind
really
me what I'm
great.
doing on the
So
screen here. So we'll add it.
no, it's all right. That's all good. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fairly obvious one, but it's a fairly obvious one for a reason. So I think S for Stand By Me sounds pretty good.
Yeah, we'll go to Richie first. We'll come to me last.
Yeah, we'll come back around to Jordan. So since he's trying to pull it up right now, but Richie.
Yeah. If you, I came to this quite late too. And as a matter of fact, maybe a couple weeks ago, but if you brought this up, I hadn't seen it, so I only watched this very recently. And because of that, like, I mean, it's really good. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I can understand why it's yes, but it's really new to me. I don't know if I could put it there yet, but I would put it at a solid A.
All right.
Yeah.
Mark.
Sounds good. Mark, what do you think?
Oh, I saw this on a sneak preview in the summer of '86 with my best friend in high school, and this, when it was over, we were weeping like kindergartners with skin knees. It just nailed everything. That this is definite S tier, and can we spend a minute talking about what an amazing streak Rob Reiner had for
I
years?
was gonna say the exact same thing, Mark, about the streak he had for like 6 movies in a row or something. Yeah, it was like, yeah, I'm looking. I mean, he started with Spinal Tap, obviously. Then he goes to The Sure Thing. I'm looking at right now. Stand By Me. Then Princess Bride. Then When Harry Met Sally. Yeah. Then Misery. Yeah. And then A Few Good Men. Yeah. And then it all comes to a screeching halt in one odd thing with North, that Roger Ebert's most hated movie of all time, North.
And
Elijah Wood.
and then he just kept stumbling along after that, like Ghosts of Mississippi. Just
American President's pretty good. He kind of bounced back with American President. It was pretty good. But yeah, it's
I'm sorry, Aaron Sorkin has not aged well for me. But yeah, okay,
Yeah.
American President, fine. I really wish he could get his mojo back.
Yeah, rumor has it, bucket list. You know what I mean? Yeah, just
the
kind
Two of Us. I never saw Flipped, and I heard half decent stuff about that. And then, and there were he had a couple of movies in like the teens, and like nobody talked about them and nobody saw them, and it's shocking.
My sister, loves the movie Flip. She watches that movie all the time, and I still haven't seen it. And she keeps telling me to watch it, that it's good. But
But yeah, I mean, but that 7 movie streak, starting from going from Spinal Tap to A Few Good Men, is pretty incredible. To have
Yeah.
like 7 pretty much,
yeah,
right on, so right in a row. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But Jordan, are you good? You want to?
yeah,
Would you give Stand By
Yeah,
Me?
we're there.
yes,
Mhm.
yeah. So Stand By Me. This one's tough because it kind of hovers around S and A tier, but I think because we're doing straight coming of age movies, like it's that kind of bumped it up into the S tier for me. Like I think that it's some pretty great child performances, with Corey Feldman, Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, and I always forget the other one. Who am I
Jerry
leaving out?
O'Connell.
Yeah, Jerry O'Connell. Yeah.
Jerry O'Connell, the fat kid from Stand By Me is the
Yeah.
long running joke about Jerry O'Connell even now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, but yeah, and then also having Kiefer Sutherland as the bully, kind of going after him, and then kind of where they end up on this long journey, and it's like they're like literally on a coming of age journey, but then they're also going on a journey from where they're walking to for so many miles, and so yeah, like I think that I would put it in the S tier because it's like one of the first ones that I think of when I think of a coming of age movie. So yeah, I got to say S.
All right.
So yeah,
Well, it's around the same area as Outsiders and Rebel Without a Cause, so it's still kind of up there. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, Jordan.
So
one more pick, and then we'll kind of go into our final kind of shout out rounds, and we'll get that going.
yeah, so while I was doing this, I wasn't thinking as hard about my next pick, so I'm going to take a quick little look at it. I think let's see if I could pick one. Kind of want to go with one that maybe isn't going to be like one everyone would go for immediately. So, you know what? Yeah, so I'm gonna shoot my shot here. We'll see what you guys think, but I think I'm gonna go with The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I think so. This is a movie that I saw very recently. I only watched it maybe like a month ago for an episode that we were doing here, and this movie really blew me away, despite what you think of, and his name just giving me now, but the guy that played Flash, Mr. Flash, what's
Ezra
going on?
Miller.
Yeah, Ezra Miller, like he's been in some kind of hot water controversy craziness lately, but the movie's great though, and like he's one of the best parts of it. So like it's sad to kind of see that, but the movie though that just works like on a lot of levels. And I'm gonna say, you know what? I'll say S for now, and we'll just see it. It'll probably like trend to a lower S for me, but just the friendship between the 3 main lead characters in it, and you got Emma Stone and Logan Lerman in there, and just the development. They kind of focus on Logan Lerman's character, but just seeing make fast friends and like the kind of relationships that they're in, and then by the end of it, you kind of deal with some mental things too that are like pretty powerful too. That like I can kind of relate to as far as like myself and like friends and family that I know that have been through some similar things. So yeah, I think that The Perks of Being a Wallflower is great. So I'll say S. But Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, this would be my next nomination if it came down to me. So yeah, I love this film. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did, but like yeah, I think the performances in it are great. Yeah, I think it's one of Logan Lerman's best performances. I love the soundtrack as well. I think Paul Rudd gives a really underrated performance. I think Paul Rudd is great as a teacher. And then like the line he has that like we accept the love we think we deserve is actually it's still sort of it still hits me to this day. Yeah, it kind of spoke to me back then when I watched it as well. So yeah, I would definitely go S.
Yeah. Mark, what do you think?
I'll give it the S as well, and I want to especially shout out that It's not 100% accurate, but I think it is the best depiction of Rocky horror culture in any film
Yeah.
that has been trying to depict it, going all the way back to Fame in 1980.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Mm.
Austin, what do you think?
I've been meaning to get around to it for about 10 years, just like, Sing Street, but I still haven't gotten to it. So I haven't seen it.
All right. Well, we got
Yeah. But hey,
got
but
three
you guys
S's,
all got 3 S tiers, so it'll be up in there. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
yeah, and then also too, I might get brought up in the Hail Mary round, but I know Steven Shepard, his favorite movie of all time is Almost Famous, so we didn't bring it up. So he's kind of like has something to say in the chat. They can't believe it didn't make it.
Yeah,
but,
No worries. Well, we're not done yet. The show's not over yet,
Yeah.
Steven. How do you know we're not going to
No, we're
nominate
not
it in the
done
Hail Mary
yet.
round? Show's not
Yep,
over yet.
exactly.
All right.
So
All right. Okay, so I think, we're about at that time of evening where we are going to go into our sort of last chance Hail Mary round. And don't think that a movie can't get up into S tier, last minute. It's happened many, many times. But what I'm going to looking for is look through the written list or the posters here, whatever you like. And I want you to just shout out anything you think still belongs in either S tier or like a strong A tier is what we're shouting out. Whatever you think on the list, I will write them down as you say them. So give me a second to write each one of them down. Give me about 2-3 second buffer to write them. But yeah, I will write them down, and I'm looking for anything that has crossover. So anything that more than one person shouts out. So even if somebody else says your pick, if Richie says movie A and Mark Edward Hoyk also says I second movie A for the S tier, make sure you say that so I write it down and we can get it on an official vote, because I will go back with the crossovers and we will do an official up and down vote for those movies that have crossover. But you can shout out as many as you like. If you got 5 movies, 10 movies, whatever on the list that you think deserve shout outs, we'll go around the horn and I'll write them down. So yeah,
I'll just keep doing the slow
so
scroll.
that's kind of
if
how it
you need me to
works.
Stop, but I'll keep doing that so you can kind of get a look
So
at
yeah,
it.
either on the written list here on the Facebook group, or if you want Jordan to just do a very, very slow scroll for you, you can do that as well, whatever you like. But Richie, we'll start with you, sir. Anything you want to shout out?
Yeah. I've jotted down a few here. Super bad.
Okay.
Super bad. Lady Bird. Better Off Dead. Mean Girls.
Okay.
Heathers. Dead Poet Society.
All right.
Dead Poet Society. We've got that.
Okay.
The Spectacular Now. The Edge of 17.
Mm-hmm.
My
Okay.
Girl. The Girl Next Door. See, Stephen, I got it.
Yep. Yeah, he knows that one too.
The King of Staten Island. And The Lost Boys.
Lost Boys. All right. Okay. All right. I got them all. So, all right, Mark, what do you got, sir? Any of those you want to shout out, or some other ones?
These are again are so obvious. I can't believe nobody else brought them up. But I guess that's why we have the Hail Mary round, because we know them, we love them, and we feel like what can we really say about them that hasn't already been said? So I got to throw in for American Graffiti and Almost Famous.
All right. Okay. All right, just those two.
Right, awesome.
All right. Sounds good. Mark, I was going to second both American Graffiti and Almost Famous, so those are also on my list. I saw American Graffiti in the theater, so yeah, I think that helped my viewing of it. I would go with the high school superhero film Sky High. I really love that movie, and I think it's actually a good coming of age movie. I'd also go Edge of 17, Dead Poet Society, The Way Way Back with Steve Carell and Sam Rockwell is really great. And I would also say Adventureland is a really underrated movie. And you know what? I'll throw in for
Yeah, I would have said that too.
which one?
That.
For what?
Adventureland. I put,
Adventureland.
maybe-
Okay.
I really love Adventureland and Spectacular now. I don't think they are quite ready for S tier yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we could. Well, I mean, if they have crossover, we'll do an official vote, and you can give your
Okay.
vote on that. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, but I'll shout out Spectacular now as well. I really like that movie. So yeah. All right, there we go.
All right.
So we'll go up to Jordan. What do you got?
All right, so for mine, hopefully I don't have too many like I usually do, but I might. We'll see. So I'll probably second Better Off Dead. I'll give a vote to Big Time Adolescence, which if you haven't seen it, I included it because I like it better than King of Staten Island. That's just why I included it. So, but I'll say Big. Let's see. I'll say Ferris Bueller's Day Off, even though I know you guys don't.
Don't even try
I'm
it.
just
You
big
don't
on
want to be
it, but
disappointed.
yeah,
Jordan.
yeah. I'll say The Goonies. Let's see. I'd say October Sky. I'll give a shout out to that. I'll shout. No, actually, that's it. I gotta vote The Sandlot. I mean, I wore the shirt because it's the only like kind of coming of age shirt that I have. So, let's see. I'll say Simon Birch. Like I'm a big fan of those. Or I mean, of that one. I'll second Superbad. Why not? And The Edge of 17. I'll second that one. And The Spectacular Now. And also The Way, Way Back. And then I'll shout out The To-Do List because I'm a big Aubrey Plaza fan, especially in that one. So, and that'll be it.
Okay. All right. So if you guys will give me about 60 seconds to tally up the crossovers so we can then vote, give official votes to all of them. Talk amongst yourselves for just a second. And I will be right back with you in a moment while I write these down.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'll say since Steven's tuning in, I watched Almost Famous for the first time, and I watched the bootleg cut that came out. So it was like an hour and 2 hours and 40 minutes long. Is pretty long, but like I really enjoyed it, but like I don't know if I can quite say S or A. Like I'd probably more say B. That's why I didn't nominate it personally, but I just wanted to just put it out there since Steven was the one who recommended it. It is good though. So.
All right.
There's a lot of these that I didn't get to that I wanted to watch. Like the next one on my list was maybe like Rushmore or maybe even American Graffiti. I just haven't seen it yet. So those were a couple.
Okay.
I just didn't have time.
Okay, I think I have everything. All right, so I've got 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 9, but again, this goes quickly. More, this is just up and down, same order. We'll start with Richie. Just quick, 10-second or less vote, and maybe a reason why. So, I've got 9 that had official more than one vote. So we'll start with Superbad. Richie.
I would go A.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Mark.
A as well.
If this is a show about strictly comedy, I'd go S. Coming of age, I'll go A.
Yeah, I'm kind of of the same mindset. Like if it was strictly comedy, I would say S for sure. But yeah, for coming of age, A. So probably makes it up into the A tier.
Well, still 4 A's, so it's a solid A.
Well,
yeah. It had 2 shout-outs, so I'll go Better Off Dead, but I know where I'm going on this one. Rich.
Yeah.
I voted for it just because I like it, but whether it's coming of age, I don't know. Look, as a movie, I love it. As coming of age, I'll say B.
Okay. Mark?
All right.
One of my favorite movies, but it's not a coming of age film. It's just a comedy.
Yeah, I heard you say that, and it was on. I don't know what that movie is. I watched it for the first time like 6 months ago. It's a comedy. I don't know what it would. It's a bonkers comedy, but yeah, not a coming of age movie. I don't know where the coming of age part comes in.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I gave it a second vote, but the more that I thought about it, I kind of like yeah, it's probably just a comedy. Like it's probably not like a coming of age movie. That movie is all over the place, kind of like some weird stuff going on in there. But like I'm a big fan of like really quirky, kind of off the wall stuff. So I like it, but yeah, it's probably not a coming of age.
We'll probably just all right. Well, let's just leave. All right, we'll leave it off the chart for now. We'll just skip that one.
Yeah.
All right, so all right, we'll go with Haley Steinfeld's Edge of 17. Richie.
Yeah.
I'll go S. I love this movie. I think more people need to talk about it.
It's right next to Girl Next Door down there.
Love the movie, but it's only an A.
Right in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. Austin?
I think that movie's great. I'd go S. I think that movie's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for my final pick, I was trying to decide between The Edge of 17 and The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So yeah, like not only am I a huge fan of this movie, I'm a huge Haley Steinfeld fan, and so yeah, I'm gonna say S. So,
okay, 3 S's in an A.
2 S's.
Yeah, might scoot in there. 3 S's in an A. Okay.
Yeah, and
next
also
one sorry, good.
Oh, I was just gonna give a little 2-second thing. My brother ran into Woody Harrelson at a ski resort recently, and like I got a really cool picture with him. It looks like he's like really happy to be there and like just hanging out with him, having a good time. So they said he was a cool guy. But anyways, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Next we will go with the Spectacular Now. Richie.
Again, I need to rewatch, but at the moment it's an A. I think it's a very underrated movie.
Yeah.
Mark?
Even though I have an ostensible bias because I have had wonderful interactions with James Ponsoldt, I think it's still just A class.
Yeah, it'd be like a strong A for me, like an A+, but I'd go A. Yeah, I've seen it twice. It really works both times.
Yeah, for me, I think that I would actually say S tier just because of the arc of Miles Teller's character in that movie. I'd say S. So
it's very tough because
1 S, 3 A's.
Because you see, like last year, we devoted like 5 episodes to each decade of horror and then had a face-off, and here we are, we're like basically trying to cram 50 years worth of movies into one damn episode. By any metric that's holy, we should have had 5 episodes to each decade of coming of age movies.
Yeah, we really could have.
So so my point is that we have had some dynamite types of these films in the noughts and the teens, but we're trying to do the whole in toto, and it's a fool's errand.
Yeah, I think that when it came to horror movies, there's a lot more that our panel specifically had seen enough to do every decade. Here, it's like there's less that we have seen overall. So it's kind of
unfortunately, if we did that, I think we'd have a panel full of people, especially if you get into like 70s and things like that, where it'd be a whole lot of haven't seen that,
Yeah.
and it would be it would be a fool's errand on our part to try. I know, right?
Wouldn't you prefer
the problem is
1 decade than 5?
Well,
yeah, that's right.
Well, we cram, but the problem is, Mark, I do a show almost every night now. I have to cram for like 4 different shows, so it's like watching one movie at home while I'm watching another movie at the gym, while I'm watching another movie on my break in my car at work, while I'm watching another thing. I'm trying to cram 4 different shows. So yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah. All right. Anyways, we got a few more. One that
Spectacular Now out of F, please. I mean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where were the votes at? I was just waiting to.
No, it's
It's A.
it was an S and 3 A's, so it's like 3 A's. It might be in
Okay.
contention. Yeah, we'll have a lot of
All
we'll have a lot of contenders for the honorable mention slots. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sounds good.
one that Mark and I both shouted out. George Lucas's American Graffiti. Richie.
Yeah, I'd give it an A.
Yeah.
All right, Mark.
Mark.
Absolute S tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, my theater experience seeing it for the first time on the big screen may have skewed it into S tier, but that's fine because yeah, I'll go S tier for American Graffiti. I think it's great.
Yeah. And I haven't seen it. Like I wanted to try to squeeze it in. I just didn't quite have enough time, so I can't really even vote. So.
All right. Well, it's got 2 S's and an A, so it's top of A at least, and we'll see if it gets a bump or not, or what happens. I'll have to go back through these votes and see what happens. Yeah. And the other one that got shouted out a couple times that Mark shouted out as well, but we'll start with Richie on Almost Famous, one of Steven's favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give it an A.
Mark?
S tier. Cameron Crowe's done a lot of wonderful things, and he too had a good streak that came to a shocking halt, and he hasn't quite recovered since. But I think this is like the pinnacle.
Yeah. Austin?
Yeah, the coming of age aspect is definitely an S tier. Yeah, and I thought the movie was pretty entertaining. So I watched the long cut, and it was long, but it was worth it. It was good. So yeah, I'd go S tier for Almost Famous.
Yeah, and I kind of gave my thoughts before. Like I liked it, but I didn't love it as much as I thought that I would. So I'd just say B for me. So
Okay.
I think it's still an
S
will be an A
SAB,
tier.
maybe kind of near a strong A tier still.
SAB, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like maybe right.
Maybe around 8th grade, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. 3 more quick ones. We'll go with the way back. Richie.
Haven't seen it yet.
Mark, have you seen the way back?
I have. I'd give it a B. Yeah, it's good, but it hasn't lingered in my memory.
Well, Austin.
I adore this movie. I saw it twice in the theater. I'd go S tier. I love Way Back. I think it's really great.
Yeah, this is one of those ones that I did see in theaters, and it hovers around the S and the A tier. But I think for coming of age, I gotta say S tier. Like it is a pretty solid coming of age movie. So yeah, S.
There's 2 S's and a B. So again, high A area. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe right at the top of A, basically. So right up by Booksmart. So yeah.
Near there. Yeah. 2 more. We have Robin Williams in Dead Poet Society. Richie.
I would say S. I think it's one of Robin Williams' best movies. I think it's fantastic. So S.
All right, Mark.
B. I went nuts for it when I was in college, but a lot of it is I think just too maudlin.
Yeah. Well, awesome.
A plus. I really like Dead Poet Society.
Yeah. This is my dad's favorite movie of all time, but I think that I gotta say B, just because I feel like the movie's so much more focused on Robin Williams than any of the particular students. So that's why I say B. So
okay,
but
B in low A territory. Yeah, SA 2B's kind of a low A. Yeah.
Got 1 S. So.
All right, and then the final one will be Adventureland. Richie.
Yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I enjoy the chemistry between J.C. Osberg and Stewart. I think this movie is criminally underseen. But I would say A. It's a great movie.
Mark?
An A as well.
Yeah, I go strong A too. But I think more people should see it. And Kristen Stewart is great at it, Jordan.
Yeah,
Good
she's a great
actress.
actress.
Kristen Stewart.
Oscar nominated.
No,
She's amazing.
I can't stand
He
Kristen
hates
Stewart.
Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
She's great in that
No,
movie.
no,
Yeah,
no.
she's a
She's
great
not.
actress.
She's the same as every other movie.
Yes, she is.
Like a
No, she's
lifeless
not.
performance.
I mean, we're not getting into this. We're not getting
She's
into
not.
this.
but
Nope, she's way different in this movie than any other movie. She's great.
Yeah.
well, I've seen it, and there's things I really like. I like Jesse Eisenberg's performance. I like Bill Hader in it. I get annoyed when they play "Rock Me Amadeus" over and over again, so I got to put it in a B.
Well, that's the point. Is he gets annoyed with it in the movie? That's a plot point. Like they're getting annoyed by it. He points it out. I think if the movie points out how annoying it is, that's a plot point of the movie.
I lived through that the first time, so yes, that is realism.
Yeah. So it's not a big criticism. It's just
Jordan's like, I found that song annoying in the movie. Yeah, so did the characters. They pointed out.
Yeah,
they're annoyed that they can't turn it off.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I was annoyed right along with them. Yeah, but. So what are the votes at?
Well, 3 A's and whatever you gave it. I don't know. You don't even need to move it up. Probably it's all right. It's not even going to be in contention. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. All right. So there we go. Yeah, that's all the stuff. So let me take a look at the my chart here and the votes tallied up.
Which one's got
so definitely
high votes?
Yeah, so definitely Boys in the Hood and Breakfast Club all had very high clean sweeps with a lot of votes. So those are definitely in contention for 1 and 2 pretty easily. Let's see. Dazed and Confused had 3 S's and 2 B's. So, and really most of the rest of the movies on the thing kind of all had that sort of, 3 S's and an A, B kind of a thing. Like pretty much everything else that's up in there in that tier.
There's a couple of them that they had like on the Edge of 17 had 3 S's and that's it. And then I think 10 Things I Hate About You had 2 S's and that's it. So I don't know what you would do with that.
Well, 10 Things I Hate About You had 3 S's and that's it. So it technically is a clean sweep, but it only had 3 votes. Yeah. Same with the same with Perks of Being a Wallflower. So technically they were sweeps, but they only had 3 votes. So technically they were sweeps, so that you could bump them up a little bit. And
I mean, you could bump them right below Dazed and Confused. Why not?
That's fine. And then, The Outsiders had 3 S's and an A. Rebel Without Cause had, where did I put it?
Dazed and Confused
3 S's and an A. So those are both strong.
With 3 S's and an A too. So maybe it goes down because it's.
Well, Dazed and Confused had 3 S's and 2 B's. 3 S's and 2 B's. So it actually might get bumped down a little bit with the 2 B's.
Yeah. So here, I'll do that.
Yeah, maybe a little bit down. And then
final spot.
Stand By Me had 3 S's and an A, so that gets bumped up above maybe Dazed as well. And then River Runs Through It had me and Mark giving it S's, but it was only 2 votes. So
that was the 2 S one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Would it go right around? Maybe like
a little tricky.
Like by the Outsiders? I don't know. It's only 2 votes, but I mean they're both S's.
I don't think that high with only 2 votes. I know, but there's only 2. But yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm fine with leaving it there. I mean, and then
either way,
that's
literally fine. Like we can decide on it here in a minute. But
yeah. So I think really, I think the first point of business before we go back through and kind of rank those, we would have to decide which of those massive amounts of A tiers makes it in the honorable mentions, which 3 of them. So that might be a tough one there. So we'll see. But no easy way to go about this because a lot of those. How about I point out all the ones that had at least 2 S votes that we bumped down. That might be where we could start. So Juno. I think we had like 2 S's and 3 A's. So Juno's a strong contender. That might make it. Let's see. American Graffiti had 2 and 1. So, I think that's a strong contender as well as Almost Famous. And maybe even The Way, Way Back. way back, it was similar as
That
well.
good too.
So
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like eighth
About the rest of
grade.
them?
A lot of them only had like one S tier and a bunch of A's. So I kind of went with the ones that had at least 2 S's. So now I'll
And the rest
say
of them?
this. I think the fairest thing would be between Juno, American Graffiti, Almost Famous, and The Way Back. Maybe we go around the horn and all vote on which one should be bumped out of those honorable mentions. And that would kind of leave the 3. Does that sound fair?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Works
All
for
right.
me.
So we'll go around the horn. Out of those top 4 right there, which one would be bumped out? So you're essentially voting for the 3 you want by voting one of them out. So what would you vote out of the honorable mentions, Richie?
Personally, Almost Famous.
Okay. Mark?
Way back.
All right. I would go Juno.
Oh shoot!
We're gonna get order, though.
Yeah, so it's going to be on Jordan,
It's the only one I
whichever one
haven't
he votes
seen.
for, pretty much. Oh, no.
Well, no, Jordan
no.
hasn't seen American Graffiti, so
No, I haven't seen it.
No,
So
Jordan-
yeah, so I got to
Jordan
vote.
hasn't
Yeah,
seen
we've
it,
got
so
a
he can't vote that
4-way.
out. Which one would you vote?
Well,
Yeah.
got a 4-way.
Well, you know
so-
what? Didn't we make an exception for that on one of the other episodes? We just had 4 honorable mentions. We did that the other day. Remember?
Yeah.
On one of the episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that. So we could have 4 honorable mention just because we're
We can have 4 honorable mentions. We give it the exception
Yeah,
every now and then.
yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, 4 honorable mentions
Yeah.
tonight. That's fine. All 4 of those. All 4 of those are good.
Just make it
honorable
easy,
mentions. That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
All right. So I think
All
the one of the only, and a lot of these, I think will be okay where they are, but we'll talk about it in a minute. But I think between Boys in the Hood and Breakfast Club, we may vote on which one gets number 1 and go around the horn. So, Richie, if you had to go Breakfast Club or Boys in the Hood, because they were both clean sweeps.
Breakfast Club.
Okay, Mark.
Oh, okay. So I have to. So I'm choosing between Breakfast Club or Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
I'm giving the
And for
edge to
number
Boys
1,
in the
what would
Hood.
you say is number 1?
Boys in the Hood.
Oh man, we may have another tie because I'd also go Boys in the Hood. And George's
would
going to say
probably go
Breakfast Club.
Yep. Breakfast Club. Yeah. So,
Let's see. All right. We can go to the comments. Is Steven or anybody else still in the comments? Maybe somebody else vote.
yeah.
Give another
Yeah.
vote in the live chat. Yeah.
Anyone in the live chat, do you prefer Breakfast Club or Boys in the Hood for our number 1 contender? So if anyone has, but we can move on.
I don't know if they are or not.
You vote for
Yeah.
anything else? I don't know if there's anything else we wanted to vote on. Because
I mean, does anybody think any of the rankings there are a little egregious? Anybody think something needs to be bumped up, bumped down?
for me,
Um,
personally, I would bump down 10 Things I Hate About You because I do understand maybe it's not as much of a coming of age movie. That's just my thing.
yeah, I probably would do the same thing and maybe bump up Stand By Me and The Outsiders a little bit. Me personally.
Yeah, like me.
Needs to be up there a bit more.
Stand By Me should probably at least be in the top 5, I would say. Probably.
Yeah.
And maybe move.
I
move
mean,
down
I
10
haven't
Things
seen
to
10
Fear.
Things I Hate About You, but honestly, I can tell it's a lightweight compared to Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like probably we could bump it up to maybe like right there, probably. And then
Yeah,
Steven
and
says
I would as a coming
the
well, for
Breakfast
coming.
Club.
Yeah, he said
So-
Breakfast Club. So yeah, it'll kind
Yeah.
of stay where it is. Okay. I would just for coming of age material, I would bump up Dazed and Confused at least above the 10 Things as well.
I've never seen it, but I'm fine with it. So
Well, I mean, I have,
Mhm.
aside from the fact that I have a fundamental problem that how can we have a list that has Dazed and Confused and not American Graffiti, but
yeah.
because
Well, it's
one
an
does
honorable
not
mention.
exist without the other.
Well,
Yeah. It's true, but
yeah,
that's just the way the votes go, I guess. Yeah.
Of course.
I voted for American Graffiti, Mark. I'm with you. I think it's one of the prototypes along with
Maybe
Rebel
if I
Without a
would've
Cause,
saw
like
it,
as far
then
as the
I could have voted
high
for
school
it, but-
experience. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
seen.
But it'll get sometimes we have one that's like a prototype. When we did, like, I'll give you an example. When we did Alien Invasion movies, I pushed hard for the original War of the Worlds from the 50s, and it only ended up in the honorable mentions because people were like, it's a little outdated. I'm like, you wouldn't have the modern Alien Invasion film without War of the Worlds from the 50s.
Yeah.
But I thought it deserved to be in the
but
top
the thing
10.
is that I
yeah.
can understand the divide between War of the Worlds and other invasion movies that followed it. Yeah, it is stodgy by comparison, but American Graffiti still holds up. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
I agree.
This
That's
is
why I
about
said S tier.
seniority. This is a
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it does. I haven't seen it. So
Yeah, I know. We got to get. I promise next time we dive into a topic like this, we'll try to reach out and get some more, experienced people on this. Maybe we'll do our best.
Yeah,
although we did that with, oddly enough, we did that with Christmas movies. We got Matt Achety and Alfonso Duralde and William Bibiani, and they were bringing up all these old movies, and yet they were all getting dumped into haven't seen even on that show with those guys.
Yeah. Even on that show, yeah.
yeah.
It was fun. Yeah,
so
but
it was. So I'm okay with where it is. If we want to just leave it there.
Yeah, I think that looks good to me.
All right, we'll wrap it up then and break it down, and then we'll wrap it up here. So number one for this evening, we've got we got John Hughes' The Breakfast Club. Number 2, John Singleton's Boys in the Hood. We've got number 3, Stand By Me. Number 4, Haley Steinfeld and The Edge of 17. Number 5, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Number 6, Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders. Number 7, Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused. Number 8, 10 Things I Hate About You. Number 9, Robert Redford's River Runs Through It. Number 10, the classic James Dean film Rebel Without a Cause. And we're going to have 4 honorable mentions this evening just based on the math, which I'm fine with. We've done it before. Juno, American Graffiti, Almost Famous, and The Way, Way Back.
Yeah, all right, there we go, guys.
All right, good job, guys. Excellent. All right.
Maybe we'll revisit this like a year or two and break it down by a decade, but for right now, this is kind of where we're at.
Or maybe even do maybe not even by decade, but maybe we can do like a pre and post 2000 sort of thing, so we can get kind of the post 2000, a little more modern stuff, and then maybe at least do like a pre 2000 movie and talk about like all just stuff, older stuff. At least break it down that way.
Yeah, eventually, like once some time has passed, I do want to go try to revisit some of these topics with a different panel. So that's something we'll do. But we want to give it some good time to pass. So like next year or something, we'll do it. So, but yeah, that was a fun time, guys. So yeah, thanks again. So that will do it for that. So for anyone that might be tuning in, we'll have the poll up tomorrow with our top 10 and our 4 honorable mentions tonight. So watch for that over in the Schmodown Friends and Family group on Facebook. So you can go vote there, and maybe Steven can either be happy that Almost Famous made the honorable mention or upset that didn't make the top 10. We'll see. So, but yeah, we'll go around the horn. And if you have any plugs, you can tell us where we can find you. So we'll start with Richie. Where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm around. I'll also be on Henry Sanchez's sort of birthday free-for-all things got going on Saturday. It should be fun.
Nice.
They're always like unpredictable. You don't know. I could do very well. We'll go out the first round. It's a lucky dip. No questions. That should be fun. And then on Thursday, Friday for me, got the Lonely Marks podcast on here. Just to talk, we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite matches, top 5. I think that's what we settled on, and also we'll run through the news, talk about Ric Flair and Steamboat potentially having a match in 2022. That's crazy to me, and also the fallout between Naomi and Sasha Banks and what goes from there. But yeah, so tune in for that. And then I'm always on here. I've signed into a lot. I don't know what the next episode I'm on here is, but yeah, it'll probably be within the next week or so. You never know. So yeah.
Yep. It'll be in 1 week from today. For Jim Carrey versus Robin Williams.
Oh, that's right. That one.
Yeah. Yeah. But Mark, where can we find you?
This is my Twitter handle right there, THE_HOYK, the phonetic pronunciation of my name. You can read the essays I've written at my blog, which is projectorhasbeendrinking.blogspot.com. You can also read my material that I've written for the New Beverly Cinema at thenewbev.com/blog. I just recently did a little breakdown of how the 80s yielded more horror anthology films than any other decade. And, talking about how that came about. And if you want to know more about me in general, I did a very in-depth interview with my longtime friend Dino Tripodis for his podcast, Whiskey Business. You can find that on YouTube under Whiskey Business Podcast, and that's what I got at the moment.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you post a clip of that. I need to go back and watch the whole show. I've been meaning to do that. So yeah, because I want to go back and see that. And I tweet.
I was going to also
go
say
ahead, Mark, please.
For my friends who live in Australia, if you the latest edition of the 1973 crime thriller The Dawn is Dead has just come out from Via Vision, and I have a commentary track on it with my friend historian Glenn Erickson, aka the DVD Savant. So go pick that up, and also if you live in America, import that disc because that commentary isn't on the domestic edition.
Okay. So only Richie gets to have access to it, right? Yeah, but
Austin, I definitely follow Mark because Mark's always talking about physical media picks. I'm a big physical media guy. I've got over 2,000 discs over there. I love physical media, and especially with all the stuff that you hear in the news about things getting pulled off of streaming services or censored or jumping all over the place. I think physical media is extremely important. Red boxes are going away, so even physical rentals are kind of going away. I'm a big proponent of that. And I was just gonna say, Mark, I bug Brian and Elric every week on Twitter about having you on the Pure Cinema podcast to talk some New Beverly stuff. So so hopefully they'll get you on there at some point because I love that podcast with those guys. The only thing I'll mention. Me and Jacob Barber, who was on here, do a podcast about movies about every either Saturday or Sunday. We'll be talking about the Scream franchise on Saturday, so that'll be fun. We just kind of do that. I'll be on the Lonely Marks podcast, and me and Henry Confidential do a show called Let's Rank Stuff, where we don't have a set number of things. We just pick a topic. Last week we did Stanley Kubrick films, talked about all of his films and ranked those. That was a lot of fun. And this week, tomorrow night, we're doing a complete opposite in tone. We'll be talking about those movies. As kind of a blow off after Kubrick. We needed something a little lighter after Kubrick. So,
yeah, you kind of do.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, cool. So and you can find us as always on all the social medias at Movie Hero 2121. So you can find all the information about the channel. You can also find us on the Schmodown Friends and Family group that we run over on Facebook. So you'll find the poll tomorrow, like I mentioned. And then if you haven't hit the subscribe button, definitely do that. We've been doing a big push for subscribers. So it's a slow climb, but we're going to do a giveaway once we reach 200 subscribers. So you can look forward to that. And then just some episodes we have coming up. So we don't have another episode on the channel. Of tournament fights and tier ranker until Sunday. We're actually doing the debut of one of our new spinoff episode or series that's going to be tournament fights versus, where we're going to take 32 of one thing versus 32 of another thing, put it in the tournament of 64. So our first one's going to be me versus Steven Shepard. We're going to be doing our favorite TV characters of all time. So we got a pretty cool panel for that on Sunday, and then we'll be doing another one for tournament fights versus. It's going to be Jim Carrey versus Robin Williams movies. So that's coming up. Then we also are continuing our action series. We have best action movies of the 80s. That's coming up. We also have another sort of tournament fights versus. We're going to be doing the best disaster movies of all time versus the best man versus nature movies, or just people that are out in nature trying to survive, like nature survival type movies. And then we also have best summer camp movies / movie set in the summertime. So we have those that are like mostly kind of like summer camp ish, but there's not quite a 64 to fill up an entire tournaments. We're going to trickle in a few of those good old summertime movies. And we also have best road trip / vacation movies coming up also. So that's just a little preview of what we have coming up. So if you hear anything that you like, you want to be on any episode, you can just hit me up. You can DM me, or we also have an email that's moviehero2121@gmail.com. So you can also find us there. But yeah, that'll do it for us tonight. So thanks again, you guys, for joining us. That was a lot of fun. So this is one that I'm glad we got to do, because I got to watch a lot of these coming of age movies for the first time. So that was fun, because like one of the best parts of doing this show is doing all the research. Even though it seems like a lot of movies to watch, we're all huge movie fans, so we love watching these movies and stuff. So it's a good time. So, but yeah, for Richie, for Mark, for Austin, for Chris, for Jacob, I've been Jordan Movie Hero Anderson, and we'll see you guys next time.